ceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day, too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely. But thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat, sponsored by FidelityWealthManagement.com. Former Jamba Juice CEO James D. White has focused a lot of the last few years of his career on mentoring leaders. His latest book is on the importance of building a strong and lasting company culture. Talking to Bloomberg, White addressed the recent pushback on DEI.
Yes, I think the conversation has definitely changed, but I think the best leaders, at least the best leaders that I work with, they've got a true north. They're very focused on their values, and they know that if you put people first and you create an environment where all the humans get to do their best work, you're going to always win.
White's latest book is Culture Design, How to Build a High-Performing, Resilient Organization with Purpose, and he wrote it with his daughter, Krista White. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Time is valuable. That's why Lowe's Blueprint Takeoffs turn blueprints into quotes faster. Bring us your plans, and we'll generate itemized material lists to make quoting easier so you can get back to building. Plus, at the Lowe's Pro Desk, you get access to thousands of building materials not sold in store. And when your order's ready, we'll deliver everything to the job site. Improving is easy at Lowe's.
Join the movement. Listen to The Tory Lowe Show on 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, the locally owned Good Karma brand station.
To the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, all the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, or the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise. He amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping. Like a heartbeat's call, he's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Friday, February 13th, 2026. It is Valentine's Day weekend, and of course, we will be sharing some wonderful Valentine's date ideas for all of you lovers out there. Make sure you are still tuned in at 11 a.m. for the Milwaukee Experience, where I have curated a list of wonderful Milwaukee area restaurants. A couple are just outside of the city, but they provide an ambiance and an atmosphere that I believe is ideal for lovers. So I've got a great list of restaurants that I'm going to share with you during our Milwaukee Experience segment, which begins at the top of hour 3. And also, I feel kind of bad because you guys keep asking me about this particular fish fry restaurant, which I'm not going to tell you. So I'm going to offer you a whole bunch of other restaurants that hopefully some of you will forget about the fish fry that I posted, and all of you that have been in my inbox. Of all the things people could inbox me for, Sherwin, I need to know the name of that restaurant. Calm down, fatty. I'll give you a whole bunch of other restaurants you can go to. All right, so I have not gone into these deep dives and delved into the rabbit hole on the Epstein files, and I'm being intentional why I'm not doing that. And I don't want any of you to think that I am neglectful of literally some of the most egregious things, the most far-reaching scandal. I guess like the CEO of Goldman Sachs, like the former CEO of Goldman Sachs, she just resigned because of her connection to Jeffrey Epstein. It is so sweeping. It is so perverted and pervasive. Like, you would think that I would dedicate a lot more time to it. There's a reason why I'm not. Now, every so often I will bring up something that maybe took place in the Epstein files, or I will implicate somebody whose name we come to find out, in the most recent data dumps. But the reason why I'm not spending a lot of time on it, first of all, there's a whole bunch of other things that we need to be focused on. It's a tremendous distraction. But I have been speaking to the African-American community for the overwhelming majority of my career. Now, I do appreciate and celebrate the fact that my audience is diverse and it's getting more diverse. That is wonderful, because I think that in a segregated city, people that may not have daily and personal interactions with folks of other races, ethnicities, religions, and culture, you can hear from some of those people when they tune into this show. And I take great pride in that. But my primary focus is the African-American community, because we have been at such a tremendous disadvantage in this country for a very long time. Now, I think that things are leveling out. Well, they were. Looks like things are going backwards a little bit. But if I talk about Donald Trump, and I've talked about him 6 ways from Sunday, I'll use him and his engagements and his involvement as just an overall lack of morality that exists within the Republican Party that, let's be clear, they are protecting him. Pam Bondi was protecting him. Pam Bondi should have been protecting the American people, the victims, and the Constitution, and she was not doing that. So I'm just using the examples every so often I may bring up as just to highlight the immorality of a political party that I believe is protecting someone who was pedophile adjacent. But there's something else that I want to shine a light on, kind of aside from all of the Epstein files hoopla. There's not going to be any consequences. Why would I go into such great detail and do all of this research when there aren't going to be any consequences? And I don't want to get people all angry and get folks all riled up and nothing is really going to happen. Nothing substantial, nothing tangible is going to happen to any of those people. You know what the craziest part about it is? And I think this is my main reason for not going into such depth. The names that were redacted weren't necessarily the victims. See, you redact the victims' names because they don't want their names out there in the public. Some people have been dealing with the victimhood for 20-something years, and they don't want their names all splashed out there in the public. Some people have committed suicide. They were involved with that monster, Jeffrey Epstein. We don't want to reveal the victims' names, but you know what the Trump administration is doing? They're not redacting the victims' names. They're redacting the perpetrators' names. They are protecting these folks, but that shouldn't come as a shock to anybody because they also are protecting Donald Trump. But here's a reason why there's not going to be any consequences, because the majority of the people in the Epstein file, let me not say the majority, all of them that have done the worst and most egregious things ain't black. That's why there's not going to be any consequences. That's not us in those files. Now, if it was, the world would be turned upside down and you would see prosecutions and indictments and subpoenas falling from the sky. That's them doing that. They, and you know what I mean when I say them, not us, them. They was getting on that plane. Democrats too. They was getting on that island. They were having those parties. They were there shooting video of Donald Trump doing a white man dance, biting his bottom lip. That was them. That wasn't us. And because it was them, I'm just going to let them, what I'm going to do with them? I can't shame them more than they can shame one another. That's not our issue. We as black folks, we got stuff we need to work on. Pam Bondi even said that if she indicted everybody that was in the list, like, I don't know, the government would collapse or something. That says a lot. But that's the them problem, okay? That's them. I'm not in their business like that. In fact, I want us to stay as far away from their business and how they protect the most egregious, disgusting people. That ain't got nothing to do with us. In fact, let me tell you why I'm not worried and why I feel safe and why I feel safe for all of y'all. Now, hold on now. In the city of Milwaukee, we got a couple little issues now. Our education system's a little lackluster. I wish there was more sustainable employment. I wish our outcomes were a little bit better. I certainly wish crime in our communities in particular was lower. But we can work on that. We have solutions for that because we have seen and tried things that have actually improved our outcomes. Of course, I want more of us to be homeowners. I want more of us to pick up garbage. It's going to be spring in a minute. Don't even ask me to do no neighborhood cleanups. I clean up the garbage in front of my house. And here's what I expect of you. Clean up the garbage in front of your house. And guess what? We'll have a clean community. So there's my PSA on that. Sorry, guys. I just don't pick up garbage in front of other houses other than my own, because picking it up in front of my house is enough. But let me tell you why I'm not worried. We are safer and our children are safer with black leadership. I ain't got to worry about no Epstein stuff with a black county executive. We got a black mayor, black sheriff, black police chief, majority black common council, black chairwoman of the Milwaukee County Board. Now, our policies may not be perfect, but at least our kids are protected. Even if you look at majority black schools, there's problems, there's issues, there's a lack of performance, there's a lack of output, especially for how much money we invest in our public schools. But our kids aren't shooting and murdering each other in the schools. And we got other stuff, like academic stuff and behavior things that we want to work out. But our kids are safe from pedophilia, at least safe from the kind of pedophilia that they are protecting. I feel safer. You should feel safer, have some kind of peace of mind. I'd rather have a black governor because we know that he's going to be far away from pedophilia. And also, black elected officials won't protect pedophilia. And so when I bring up the Epstein issue, it is a showcase of their lack of morality and how they're just not fit to lead good, honest, decent people. People that want to protect kids. So I feel safer, and you should too, with black leadership. Now go vote for David Crowley for governor. I also want to... I'm going to have a lot of opinions today that a bunch of y'all are not going to agree with, but that's fine, because I'm not here for the popularity. So this woman named Nicole Curtis, white lady, said the N-word, had a show on HGTV that, let's be clear, none of y'all knew about, none of you watched it, never heard of this woman before. But the way people are exploding at her really weird and odd and poorly timed and specific use of the N-word in connection with another noun was just odd. And so we put a question up on the YouTube because, that's what we do. In fact, if you go to youtube.com or if you open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device, search 1017 The Truth and hit subscribe. Go ahead and do that now. You'll be able to participate in the live chat and the video stream, but you will also be able to vote in our YouTube poll, and it's about zero tolerance for the N-word, and it's a simple yes or no. Should the word completely be banned forever? Nobody should say it under any context whatsoever. Never say it. No, don't think it. Oh, my God, it's the worst word ever. It is a clear indication of somebody's racism, or should we look at context? Now, here's what I say, and this might be an unpopular opinion, because whenever black folks can catch a white person doing or saying something that we can interpret as racist, we pounce on them and we think that we are making a dent in racism. We think that we are extinguishing it if we cancel a white person that uses the N-word. That's insane to me. And if anything, it serves as a distraction. I have some information I'm going to bring to you today that I do not want us to be distracted from. It's the quiet things this administration is doing that nobody is paying attention to because of either the Epstein files themselves or the manufactured distractions coming from this administration. So we're not focused on these quiet and very dangerous, toxic things the administration is doing, but also somebody like Nicole Curtis, who we don't even know. What was this woman, like some MAGA crusader? Was she out there, yelling and screaming that black people shouldn't vote? Is there any real evidence that this woman is the one we actually should be mad at? Is this woman who had a show on HGTV that nobody watched? Is she the reason why we are oppressed? Absolutely not. Now, she used the N-word. And whenever we get a chance to pounce, we will. I'm also noticing something else just in the ethos. People are just really angry, on edge, and unhappy. I don't know if it's the economy. I don't know if people got the blues because it's the winter. I don't know if it's because it's Valentine's weekend and some of y'all are not getting laid. But everybody is just like on edge and just angry and, you know what I mean, quick-tempered. Relax. I know it doesn't seem like it, ladies and gentlemen, but mark my words, we're gonna be fine. We're just going through a rough patch. Everybody's all prickly and angry. I'm chilling. I came up with a whole new political party yesterday as a response to all of the tension, and people are mad and they're angry. It's, don't worry about it. Hi, I'm from the Don't Worry About It political party. We prosecute pedophiles. We'll give you free health insurance. We'll pave the potholes, make sure your communities are safe. We'll plant flowers in boulevards. We are the Don't Worry About It party. You want to just go to bed one night and not have to wake up to a Donald Trump headline? Vote for the Don't Worry About It party. We'll make the federal government work to where you don't even have to worry about it. Tired of going to sleep and waking up and finding out Donald Trump just put a tariff somewhere and then bombed somewhere else? Don't worry about it. We're not going to put tariffs on anything. We're not going to bomb anybody. We may love bomb you, but we're not going to bomb another country because we believe in peace and humanity. Don't worry about it. Everybody, listen. Don't worry about it. The truth is there are no consequences for what this administration is doing because the people in the Epstein files are not black and the victims are not people that were harmed by black people. So we're going to talk about some things today. Got some people calling, got some phone calls. If you want to call or text on this Valentine's weekend, I'm starting this show off with so much love. Our phone number is 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. I'm going to take a break, come back, take some phone calls, and we're going to dance a little bit today. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. On Sunday afternoon, the Milwaukee Panthers return home to face in-state rival UW Green Bay Phoenix at the UWM Panther Arena for the Battle of I-43.
Loop a pass, baseline right, Franklin, in on Cotton, reverse layup. Oh, that was pretty. Elam, wrap a pass, left corner, Jackson, trigger three, and he hits it.
Scott Warris has the coverage starting at 1:30 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 2 o'clock.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
There are many times I thought, I can't do this. I mean, what parent isn't worried about? What am I not doing right? What am I not doing enough? And then I realized, wait, that's being a parent.
Don't worry about being perfect. I've had around 3 other mother figures in my life, but only one of them has taught me how a mother loves.
The greatest reward for me is he makes me better every day.
I would tell a family considering adopting a teenager that teenager, whoever it is, needs you, and they need what you have to offer.
Taylor's given me hope. He's our son, and that is what he will always be.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Eight 212-1017 is a telephone number. You can call, you can text. Don't worry about it, everybody. We're going to be fine. If you're a black person, let's just stay focused on the things that we need to do to improve our situation and improve our community. We do have some great assets. We have a majority African-American legislature in the city of Milwaukee where I think that we need it most, which means that our ideas get more oxygen. Doesn't mean they're all going to pass. It doesn't even mean that they're all good ideas because a majority black council comes up with them, but the likelihood that some of those ideas will help improve something somewhere, I like the odds as opposed to when we had majority non-black council members. We still have a lot of work to do in the city. I don't think that any members of the Milwaukee Common Council or in the Epstein files. But that whole Jose Perez, Marty Brooks thing, that's about as close as we're going to get. Really, 2 grown men playing grab ass. That's all it is. So it's fine. Let's talk to Cole, shall we? Cole, you're on 101.7 The Truth. Thank you for holding. How are you, Cole? Cole is gone. My producer's not in the studio. What's happening? Why? Okay. Cole, hold on. Andrew walked away. Don't know where he is. Let me go here. So Nicole Curtis, the lady that said the N-word. There's a part of the story that is untold about the lady from HGTV. They were filming her. She rehabs houses on one of those shows, which nobody watches. I don't think you watch those shows. Because if you did watch those shows, we'd know who Nicole Curtis is, but we didn't know who she was. So anyways, so she's rehabbing a house. She's fixing something, some trim, and then she uses a really unusual slur as she's like trying to fix something or nail something into a wall. You know how it is when you're trying to do some construction work and you mess up. You may say anything. I compare it to like when I'm in traffic, because I'm really on edge when I'm in traffic, especially driving in Milwaukee, because you never know. All right, now we can talk to Cole. All right. Cole, you're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you? Cole. Could turn the volume up. Well, there we go. All right, Cole.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right. How's it going?
Good.
So I just had something I wanted to bring up. It's about the SAVE Act.
Yes.
So last night I was on Facebook and I ran across a group of individuals who were praising the SAVE Act.
Okay.
So probably shouldn't have been in that group anyway.
Probably not.
Probably should have just kept scrolling. Yeah, probably should have kept scrolling. But I wanted to kind of just enlighten them on some groups that might be negatively affected by this act. And one of the groups is elderly black folks who were born in the South. Now, I'm sure you know about this, but I just recently learned, maybe a couple years ago, that their record keeping for birth certificates in the South back in the 30s, 40s were terrible for black folks.
They were non-existent in a lot of cases.
And, a lot of folks were born outside of a hospital, and, things weren't like they are today. So trying to get a hold of those records are damn near impossible. And I know that because I helped my father-in-law have that issue when he was trying to get a passport a few years ago. And he had to jump through hoops for months to get his birth certificate corrected to reflect, his current documents. And it was a bear. And so I'm telling these folks, I'm like, look, everybody doesn't have someone to help them. These elderly folks don't have someone to help them do things like this. So they're going to fall through the cracks. And I just got told it was a bunch of BS. Just order your birth certificates, should be no problem, and everybody should have one. And I just thought it was ridiculous, but that's what's out there.
Cole, why do you think those people are praising and supporting the SAVE Act so that folks like your father are going to have a hard time voting? They make it seem like, oh, we don't want illegals voting and we don't want migrants who are non-citizens voting. They know that it's going to harm elderly black folks that may have been born in the Jim Crow South because they know that we weren't born in hospitals. And if you weren't born in hospital, there is no official record of your birth. So technically, our citizenship, while we are citizens, it's a little bit more difficult to prove. That's why they support it. We and our elderly black folks vote for Democrats. They have fully researched who this is going to harm. White people, it's extremely easy for them to prove their citizenship. They were born in hospitals. They can produce their birth certificates very, very quickly. They also have the transportation and the money to pay for their birth certificates. And a bunch of them have passports because that's another document that you can bring to the polls to prove your citizenship. Black folks don't have that. And most black people do or can get those documents. But if 2 or 3% or 4% of black folks don't have those documents, that's enough to sway an election, especially in a place like Wisconsin. So don't try to convince them or tell them who the SAVE Act is going to harm because they know, and that's why they support it.
Well, it's a dirty game, I'll tell you.
Indeed it is. Thank you for your call and your concern, Cole.
All right.
All right. Then.
Okay.
I don't think that we as black folks appreciate how much they hate us. We don't. And I only can appreciate how much they hate us because I grew up in Brown Deer in the 80s and the 90s. They hate with a smile and kindness and friendship. Because at the end of the day, they can think you're really cool. They can admire our fashion. They can listen to hip-hop music. But at the end of the day, it's very simple. They get the benefit. They get the advantage. They go first. They get the money. They get the opportunity. They get the promotion. Aside from all of that, you blacks are great. We don't want you voting and getting in political power because clearly you blacks don't know what to do with it because, just look at your communities. But I think that we try to use or appeal to someone's humanity to say to people like, oh, wow, this is totally racist. This is going to harm a lot of black people, and this is going to be detrimental to vulnerable urban communities. They know. But to be racist is to lack humanity for certain people. So the people that you've already dehumanized, you'll never see them as human. If you've already cast the Palestinian children aside, as an example, as not real children, then you can kill them and bomb their orphanages, you see. So no Palestinian child can record like a really heartfelt Instagram video and say, please, I'm a child, and the child could be holding a teddy bear. And the child can say, maybe they're saying it in Arabic, maybe they're saying it in English, maybe they're saying it in Hebrew. I'm just a baby, I'm just a child, please don't hurt me. That won't do any good. Because once you have dehumanized a group, like what Donald Trump is doing with immigrants and migrants, I think he even dehumanizes his wife. Quite honestly, I don't think he cares about her. That's images. Like, that's image and, keeping up with the Joneses. You got to have a pretty wife. He probably hates her. They probably hate each other. But if you dehumanize a group, then there's nothing that a member of the dehumanized group can say to get people to see that they're an actual person. This is going to be a problem, I'm sure. Hello, Alan.
Hey, Sherwin, how are you?
Doing all right.
So am I. I'm cleaning up. I'm getting ready. What are you going to do for Valentine's Day, man?
Anything to stay on the topic, Alan? If not, I got to take a commercial break. Let's stay on the topic.
Well, you were talking about Valentine's Day when I was getting my car washed. I heard you, and I said, I'm going to call and just wish you a happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
You know what?
Oh, boy.
All honesty. I'm going to stay on point. All honesty. I don't necessarily agree with what you're saying today about like the save thing. I think there's in the spirit of it. But once again, you're making me think about some stuff that I might not have thought about it right away. So I'm going to say thanks for that. And more importantly, I want to tell you what you do, and you might think I'm effing with you a lot of times. I'm really not. What you do here is you bridge a gap, and you really do bring together a lot of people. And just because of your show, I've met many people just standing in lines at stores, and they've been, hey, are you, and I'm like, yeah, that's me. How are you? And then we talk, and people I never met, and not one person's ever been negative. So for that, I want to say thank you. And whatever you do for Valentine's Day, man, be safe and have fun, okay?
All right, thank you, Alan. That was very nice of you. And you're welcome for me making you famous. You're welcome.
I was famous before you, but you've added to it a little bit more. People knew me.
Oh.
But now more do. And you know what you really did? You might not have known you were doing this, but you've helped us a lot by letting me air some grievances like about this thing over here. And a lot of people who weren't involved, they've become, because of you and what you've done, maybe unwittingly, you really helped us a lot. And you got more people involved in our struggle over here, if you will.
Well, you're welcome, but I have to go now. But thank you. That was very nice. All right, then.
There you go. Have a good one.
Okay, then. That was, see, I know what he does. See, that flattery, that'll keep him on the phone longer. Sherwin, I don't know if you know this, but, you're a really great guy. I just want to wish you a happy Valentine's Day. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I'm going to talk about a little hidden part of the story of the lady. The white lady that said the N-word that was on the HGTV show, her name is Nicole Curtis. I feel like I have to give all that information because a lot of y'all don't even know who the hell she is. She's not like some beacon of white supremacy that we have to go after and punish and cancel. I'll be honest with y'all, I don't think that she should have been canceled for that. Like, what if this woman goes and commits suicide? It's so stupid. It also relates to our YouTube poll. Should there be zero tolerance for the N-word? And to that, I answer no. Let me tell you why. Because zero tolerance with things always hurts black people more. We'll discuss more on the other side. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Hey, Joe, working again? Retirement was boring, huh?
Not boring. Expensive. Food, medicine, rent. Social Security just isn't enough.
I know, and that's why I used benefitscheckup.org. It connected me to an extra $1,000 a month.
$1,000 a month?
Benefitscheckup.org is a free service from the National Council on Aging.
Free? I'm going to benefitscheckup.org today.
Life isn't a single moment. It's a shared ribbon that bends through the years. It binds us to the things and people we love most. One insurance company knows this because they live it. For 100 years, we've been with your family for the moments that matter most. Erie Insurance. Find a local agent at erieinsurance.com.
He's the voice for the people and the community's connection to change.
Sometimes justice looks different to me. Do you want them in jail for murdering Corey Stingley? Yes, you do. Do you want them to go to trial for what they did and go through that process? Hey, But at the end of the day, the men that took Corey Stingley's life, something happened to where they have to accept the fact that they did that and that they have to be labeled a murderer for a certain length of time and when it was nothing, I think that was a huge thing that happened. When you had to climb mountains to get to this point. 13 years?
The Tory Lowe Show, weekdays from 1 to 4 p.m. Live on YouTube and right here on 101.7 The Truth.
I take care of the kids, and I take care of my dad. I take care of things at work. The groceries, the cleanups, the meltdowns, the doctor's visits, the family events, mealtimes, bedtimes. I take care of all the things everyone else needs. But I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Family caregivers are often overloaded. It can feel overwhelming and exhausting. It's no surprise that millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression every year. But help is available, because there may only be one you, but you don't have to do it alone. Head to mentalhealthcareworks.org. That's mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve, because mental health care works when you make the call. If you're experiencing a mental health crisis or thoughts of suicide, dial 988, a message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Rodney says via our text line, some of the students of MPS may be in the Epstein files thanks to Life Touch, who is in the files, the studios, the main class photographer, contractor for the system. So do we know specifically that Life Touch contracts with MPS is number one? Number two, ain't no black kids in them files. Ain't no black kids go to the island. Because the children that those beasts were looking for, black children are not in that orbit. That was something that we want to include ourselves in that so bad. Can we be glad for a moment that there's an atrocity going on in the United States and we ain't got nothing to do with it, but we want to be connected to it so bad. Ain't got nothing to do with us. Now, I'm worried about who's going to get shot this weekend and in March and in April and in May. I'm more worried about that. We ain't in them files. If anything, so the companies that take student photos, and there's a way in which you guys can negate that. Get a private photographer. Y'all got so many damn pictures of your kids. Y'all take pictures of your kids for no reason. I love first day of school pictures. Oh, they're so funny. They're hilarious. If you don't want a contractor taking photographs of your kids, then submit your own photo of your child for the class picture or the yearbook or whatever. That used to happen. People would submit their pictures. But that doesn't even matter because you post so many pictures of your children on social media. A lot of times children right now in this era have a digital footprint before they're even born. Women will post their ultrasound pictures. So now the world knows you're pregnant. And then, of course, you have the baby and you got the baby pictures. Yay, our baby was born. Yay, our baby's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. You can look at the whole development of a child online and you all worried about Life Touch. But companies like that will use photos because if they take the picture of your child, they also clearly have some agency over that photograph. They use it more for facial recognition. So they feed their facial recognition algorithms. And if they take pictures of your children every year, this is something to be more legitimately concerned about, not MPS kids being in Epstein file. MPS kids would fight. They'd be like, hell no, you better get me off of this island. I would say the black kids would swim, but we don't. You send the black kids to the Epstein Island. I'm swimming out of here. Actually, no, I'm not. Can I get some floaties? Because we don't really swim. So they'll take the pictures of your children for the yearbook, whatever. They'll keep the pictures of your kids. So they don't get yearbooks in first grade, but like class pictures, kindergarten, first grade, third grade, blah, 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 blah. And so the same company, I'm not saying it's Life Touch or it isn't Life Touch, but the same company will have photographs of your children from kindergarten, let's say through high school. And the way your child's face changes as they age and they're prepubescent and they hit puberty, and then by the time they graduate from high school, they're adults, the changes in our faces and our facial structures as we grow and get older feeds the algorithm so that AI can accurately age people. Give you an example. Let's say somebody disappears a child disappears at the age of 9, and they've been gone for 10 years. They were abducted 10 years ago, and they were 9 when they were taken. Well, that child is now 19 years old. So what these companies do is they can feed these photographs of children from very early ages when they're taking their first class photos through high school, and the algorithm can accurately age someone. So a child that was taken at 9, we can create, or AI can create, or technology can create, or facial recognition can create a perfectly accurate representation of what that then 9-year-old looks like now at 19. That's a bigger concern. But also when we submit photos and put them online, Meta, which owns Instagram as well, they're taking all those photos and feeding it into facial recognition. So there's other stuff that we can be worried about. All right, let me get back on task to this lady that nobody knows about. Because there's something that was in the story that hasn't been revealed. So it says in her Instagram story, she, Nicole Curtis, shared a text exchange with TMZ where she said in part, quote, regarding HGTV, I'm grateful for the 15-year journey we've shared. It's been a meaningful chapter, but my focus isn't on my career. My focus in this moment is rightfully on my relationships and my community, blah, 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 blah. She followed that up with a series of screen grabs showing messages from strangers calling her. And this is the part that I think is unfair. I don't like zero tolerance policies because when they exist, they don't give any room for error, for mistake, and for misunderstanding. I'm going to give you just one example, and I'm going to proceed to this story. You have to allow somebody to be a human being. There was a story years ago where a child had it was a 5-year-old child. In their backpack, they had a fingernail clipper. You know, a fingernail clipper, a clipper for the nails. This school, and because there's the nail file on a fingernail clipper is sharp. This school had a zero tolerance policy for foreign objects that could be considered a weapon. I personally don't think that a fingernail clipper is all that dangerous, but if there is a zero tolerance policy for any foreign object that could be considered a weapon, guess what happened to that child? This is a kindergarten child now. You can go look this story up. The child got expelled from school because they have a zero tolerance policy. It's insane. You have to give some kind of leeway. So let me give you another example as to why this ultimately, black people can't support zero tolerance because we never get the benefit of the doubt. Let's say there's a 13 or 14-year-old child, doesn't really have a very stable home life, and they may look up to kids in the neighborhood, right? They don't really have, good parents. There's no structure, and they're hanging out with some neighborhood kids. And they want to fit in somewhere because children need to belong, children need boundaries, and children need structure. And if that's not coming from home, children will seek it out on the streets, which is bad. Let's say one of this 13-year-old, they see one of their classmates that's 14, pull-ups in a Hyundai Accent, in a vehicle, in a Kia. And a 13-year-old that's looking to belong, and some of you were. Hell, some of you still are that 13-year-old. And a 13-year-old gets in the car, and they ride, having a good time. This 13-year-old has got friends, and they're laughing. 13-year-old don't know that car is stolen, nor does the 13-year-old care. And they're riding around. That's the police. Uh-oh, they're getting pulled over. And, of course, all the kids get arrested. That 13-year-old didn't steal that car, didn't even know the car was stolen. Now we're going to send that 13-year-old to juvenile detention for 6 months? That's what a zero tolerance policy would do. Oh, we have no tolerance for someone in a stolen vehicle. You're all innocent. What I would say is look at the entire situation. This is a child that didn't really have a stable home life. They were looking to fit in. These kids that they look up to pulled up in a vehicle the 13-year-old got in. If anything, that child is a victim of circumstance and probably needs more love, care, time, and attention at home, not to be sent to juvenile detention to where now this child has a record. Zero tolerance does not look at the whole situation. We have found that in the juvenile justice system and even in the adult criminal justice system, when you look at someone's total situation, some of the things that they do, while illegal, while those things may run afoul of the law, do not always require the most extreme punishment. That is why I don't believe in zero tolerance, because it will ultimately hurt us first, because we already don't get the benefit of the doubt. She, Nicole Curtis, followed that up with a series of screen grabs showing messages from strangers calling her profane names, insulting her, and labeling her as a racist. One person said he wanted her deported and, quote, disposed of, that's a death threat, and added amid all caps profanity, quote, "May you never have a day of peace again," Curtis told TMZ. She was focused on being a mom. Here's the part. The video clip that some of you have seen, because I've posted it everywhere, the unedited version of her saying, I think it's in the Hughes Views. In fact, I know I posted it in the Hughes Views Facebook group, which is the Facebook group that corresponds to the show. And I posted it in the featured section. So if you are a member of the Hughes Views Facebook group, you'll be able to see her saying the word and words in question. The video of the slip was captured 2 years ago. So the recording is old, and someone just released it. I think that someone released it intentionally to hurt her, to kill her career. They had some kind of vendetta over her. And so before you guys say, oh, Sherwin, that doesn't matter, she had this slip 2 years ago. If she was indeed, in fact, a racist, in the last 2 years, wouldn't we have a shred more evidence of that? Wouldn't we see her at a MAGA rally wearing a red hat somewhere? Because remember, she's a relatively famous person. If she said the N-word in what I think was just an accidental slip 2 years ago, if she was an actual racist, someone who is worthy of receiving death threats, there would be more evidence of that in the last 2 years. Personally, I think it's foul. Let me tell you why, because I guarantee you I've said things in the past couple of years that I probably don't even remember. And for somebody to bring that up years later out of context would be totally unfair. I'm just asking people to be fair. I'm not saying you got to like this woman. I'm not saying you got to go and stream her old episodes of whatever. I don't even know the name of her show. Actually, no, you can't stream the show anymore because they've all been taken down. Just look at the entire situation. She said it 2 years ago. And really, who cares? Got other stuff to worry about. And those other things we have to worry about, I'm going to talk about on the other side. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Make sure you join us on YouTube by searching 101.7 The Truth and hitting subscribe. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com. Need a way to hype up your day?
Hello, is this Shirley? This is she. Shirley, you are our Gruber 5K giveaway winner this quarter. Congratulations.
What would you do with $5,000?
Going to look at buying me a pickup truck. That will be some of my down payment.
Stay tuned into 101.7 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 101.7thetruth.com.
I love you guys.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
The Humane Animal Welfare Society, HAWS, believes in keeping pets healthy and families together. No one should have to choose between rent and veterinary care. The Wellness Clinic at HAWS Animal Shelter in Waukesha offers important basics of dog and cat care to our community. Pet owners can schedule general exams, sick visits, receive vaccinations, even get preventatives and nail trims. Appointments are available weekdays and can be scheduled by calling 262-542-8852. Contact HAWS of Waukesha today for your pet's care.
Steinhoffel's President 5-Day Sale is happening now, and the furniture and mattress savings are so good. Start with at least 10% off store-wide, then you'll get $50 off every $4.99 you spend, plus doorbusters you gotta see in person. And if you're financing, I got something huge for you. 60 months with no interest until 2031 when you spend over $19.99, plus you'll get a $200 MasterCard reward card. It's only 5 days, so don't wait, and it's only at Steinhoffel's.
When I was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma, I had so many questions. I didn't even know that it was cancer. Now I do. It is cancer. Blood cancer. It's actually one of more than 100 different types, and they're all treated differently. Now, unlike some other forms of cancer, usually there's no tumor. You can't screen for it to prevent it, and the symptoms can look like other things, so it could be hard to diagnose. I had a fever for weeks. I was so tired all the time. I didn't feel like eating or doing anything else for that matter. And I know that this can feel scary. But if you know what to look out for, you'll know what to tell your doctor. And you'll feel more empowered to take the next steps. Like getting in touch with the people who know the ins and outs and can help with everything blood cancer related. Blood Cancer United. They work one-on-one with each person who reaches out to answer questions and offer resources. Blood Cancer United was there for me, and they can be there for you.
Go to bloodcancerunited.org to learn more.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I saw you in the dress and I just had to dress. My compliment came through in the clutch. She started to blush, then I knew what was up. Called the next morning, said, what'll it be? Dinner and a movie, or just chilling with me. She said,
one of the things that when I was working in Democratic Party politics is we would find places and spaces in which Democrats and Republicans agree. We don't really talk about that much anymore. It used to be protecting kids, but no, that's not common ground anymore. But one of the most clear examples was the environment. Now, you wouldn't think with the rolling back of a lot of Obama-era rules. In fact, the original Clean Air Act goes back to like Kennedy's administration, probably 1963, where we realized that pollutants from manufacturing and factories, just a byproduct of production, was real harmful to human health. And then as time went on, even in the Nixon administration, who was a very, very conservative Republican. In fact, Nixon resigned. Nixon's attorney general went to prison. Nixon was involved in heavy scandal and was deemed a threat to American democracy, but even he cared about the environment because, if I'm not mistaken, the EPA was created and signed into law during Nixon's presidency, and Andrew is confirming. So Republicans have always had a concern about the environment, not for the simple reasons for, we want clean air and clean water. Well, of course. And one of the reasons why we need government regulation is because reducing contaminants, and these contaminants, let me be clear, cause cancer. It's been proven. So if a company that is producing products, which are great because that's good for the economy and people are hired and they're paid a wage to work at this company, but if the company is polluting and giving people in the surrounding neighborhoods illnesses, asthma, cancer, then there needs to be regulations and money needs to be spent and technologies need to be developed to curtail and to filter those emissions from those smokestacks. We can agree on that, you see. You would think that that would be something universally agreed upon, but here's the problem. Regulating business costs the business money because they have to invest in, screens and filtering the particulate matter out of the smoke from the smokestacks. And they used to just dump pollutants in the river. The Milwaukee River, the KK River, and the Menominee River used to be so polluted because a lot of the tanneries that we had and all the chemicals that are used in tanneries, because we used to be a big leather producing city, Milwaukee did. They would just dump all the ammonia and the poisons right in the rivers because back then they didn't know. We got to get rid of all this extra ammonia, see? Because that's how they all talked. We got to get rid of it, indeed we do. Dump it right in the river, I say. It'll just flow out to the ocean, indeed. Wait a second. How come I'm developing a fourth eyeball? Right, so they were like, there's something to these pollutants we're dumping in the water. In fact, they recently celebrated that, like the KK River, they spent many decades cleaning it up. Oh, it's clean now. Don't drink it. Dude, no, don't ever drink it. But from generations and generations of dumping pollutants into the water, it was very, very unsafe to swim in, right? I wouldn't swim in it now, but so there's always been this bipartisan understanding that the environment is worth protecting. And as time went on, we start to see the health impacts on actual people, adults, children. I'm going to get into some of the details of when you reduce regulations, which Donald Trump has done, and it's going to have a really sweeping impact. Barack Obama had these findings from his administration. It was called the endangerment finding. Like, we knew that people that lived next to companies and chemical plants, whatever, were sicker, but there was nothing documented. There was no study. During the Obama administration, they came out with a 210-page document that says people that live in the vicinity of these companies, of these plants, are literally dying. And so from that point forward, the Obama administration put forth tremendous effort to regulate some of these companies to save human life. Donald Trump has removed all of them, including more fuel-efficient standards for vehicles, which is going to hurt us in the long run, because if America wants to be competitive with our automobile manufacturing, with these reduced fuel economy standards, because Donald Trump has removed all of the regulations, so now our cars are going to burn more gas, foreign countries are not going to be buying American cars because they have environmental standards for fuel efficiency. But the impact of this is going to harm African Americans, as you could imagine, more than anybody else. And so I don't want anyone to think that when the Trump administration comes up with a rule or an executive order, or they rescind something, I don't want you to think it is not well-researched and documented who is going to be hurt. And I want to spend a fair amount of time on this, because while we're distracted by everything from the Epstein files, which is, I guess, a worthy distraction, but people like Nicole Curtis and other little small things that are going on, the regulations that Donald Trump has rolled back this week is going to be measured in lost and damaged lives, allowing these companies to pollute all over again. It also rescinds a Barack Obama rule, because Barack Obama had an interest in the environment being cleaner, mostly because in urban areas where a lot of African Americans live, the land is polluted, or we live next to highways where you have tremendous vehicle emissions. So the harm, once again, is going to be suffered by African Americans. And it also allows Donald Trump to take away something positive that Barack Obama did. Of course, the Trump administration and Republicans are going to be rewarded by rescinding some of these regulations that keep our air and our water safe to breathe and to drink. And they're going to get all sorts of campaign donations. So the money that these companies were spending on curtailing their pollution and their poisonous emissions, they're just going to give that money right to the Republicans that vote on this legislation that allow them to pollute. The other thing is, you know who likes to hunt and fish? Conservatives. That is environmental protection as well. So that certainly is something that should be bipartisan. We want to breathe clean air and drink clean water, and people want to protect wildlife and wetlands and don't want that stuff drilled for oil, because a lot of Republicans and conservatives love their guns and love to hunt. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
70 million people in the U.S. have learning and thinking differences, like ADHD and dyslexia. Each has their own story. This is ours. At first, I thought it was just a phase. Then schoolwork became a struggle. Emotions got bigger, and my kids started falling behind. I felt alone, like I was lost in the dark trying to find answers. Then I learned about Understood.org, a nonprofit empowering parents and kids like us. It was like we had a light to show us the path ahead. Whenever new challenges came up, their guidance helped us figure out our next step. We still have tough days, but now we have direction. And I have the tools and resources I need to help my child thrive. No matter where you are on the path, Understood can help you keep moving forward. Visit understood.org/yourpath today.
Do you hear that? And that? And that? Those are the sounds of a healthy and vibrant community. And to this United Way volunteer, nothing sounds better. They're the sounds of children being given greater chances to succeed in school. The sounds of neighbors receiving the support needed to overcome challenges, both big and small. They're the sounds of families gaining access to quality health care and nutritious food for their tables. And they're the sounds of members of our community who've benefited from United Way's financial education programs. See, wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. People working together to respond and growing the good for everyone. United is the way. So join us by getting involved or giving back. Learn more at unitedway.org.
Listen to the man who tells you exactly how he sees it. The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris every weekday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. And there's some details I want to share with y'all about some pretty significant issues that are happening right now. But I ain't forgot it's Valentine's weekend, or as some of you say, Valentine's. I got some ideas for you, some date night ideas, and I owe you guys a couple of restaurant recommendations because I'm never going to tell you the name of the fish fry place. And I'm going to go there after my show. And when I go to get my fish fry at a place that I'm not telling you about, I hope that there's no one there. I hope it's just me. I might even take my shoes off. I'll take my shoes off in the restaurant. Let me tell you why. Because if I'm the only customer, what are they going to do? Kick me out? No, because I'm the only customer. But at 11 o'clock, we're going to do the Milwaukee Experience, which is a segment that we do every Friday where we talk about all the wonderful things there are to do in the city of Milwaukee. So much entertainment, so many things going on, and, of course, so many great restaurants where I know you're going to take your person. So when is the side piece day? Today or Sunday? I guess we'll talk about that during our 11 o'clock hour. There have been accumulating harms done to African Americans in this administration. And I think that we have been so inundated with harm just throughout the years, throughout the generations, that we don't really keep track. But what will happen is we'll look around and we'll say, why are conditions so bad for us? Because the federal government has reach and tentacles everywhere. And let's say there was a program that provided federal grants to cities and counties for after-school programs or for athletic programs for youth at risk. Let's just say that exists, and they did exist. When you remove those programs, because Trump would consider that DEI, if the Department of Justice says, you know what, if we give black children in certain zip codes and certain census tracts activities, and if we fund those activities, those funded activities are a lot cheaper than arrest and incarceration. So we would rather give grants so that there's additional activity, so that the city of Milwaukee has more money to come up with programs that the city of Milwaukee knows will help its youth, so that David Crowley and Milwaukee County and the Milwaukee County board can come up with great solutions and strategies for what can help keep our youth off of the street. The federal government does that kind of stuff. And so when those dollars are rescinded, because Trump calls that all DEI because it helps black people and black children, then crime goes up. And then what do? And it's our ignorance, and I try and my level best to eradicate that ignorance. We just blame the people that are in office. Well, they have been victimized too, because for years we may have been getting these grants. We might have been getting these grants even when George W. Bush was president. Trump comes in on his retribution tour and he pulls all of that money, and guess what happens? Crime goes up in our neighborhood. And what do? We blame the people that are in office. No, they don't have the money anymore that was used to implement the programs that kept our kids off of the street. So instead of blaming them, we have to go further upstream, but we oftentimes don't do that. It's really complicated, and most people don't follow the deep tentacles of the federal government, but I would rather give definition and clarity and demystify how these things actually work instead of us blaming the people who are in this fight with us. The EPA rescinds landmark 2009 endangerment finding on greenhouse gases and harmful effects on climate. The Environmental Protection Agency has walked back a landmark environmental decision to regulate greenhouse gas emissions and fight climate change, calling it the single largest deregulatory action in American history. The EPA announced on Thursday that it was eliminating both the Obama-era 2009 greenhouse gas endangerment finding and all subsequent greenhouse gas emission standards for all vehicles and engines, models 2012 to 2027 and beyond. Barack Obama could not directly come out and say, hey, there's a whole bunch of things that are impacting the lives of black people. Let me put policy focus on those things, because Barack Obama would say, oh, as a black man, I want black people to be safe. You know, he couldn't say that. He couldn't say it because he wouldn't get any cooperation from Congress, and white legislators all over the country, if not all over the world, would label him racist. So what he would do is he would have teams of researchers say, tell me where African Americans are being disproportionately harmed. And they can say things like, well, where black people live, the land is likely more polluted. It's near a highway where the emissions from vehicles have higher rates of cancer and asthma, which black children have at exorbitant rates. Don't worry, I'm going to give you the statistics and the details of it. So Barack Obama was like, let me get this straight. So because of where black people live in urban areas, they are more subjected to toxins and poisons and vehicle emissions. And the EPA scientists would say, absolutely. So then Barack Obama would say, let's put regulations on these companies so we can relieve some of the healthcare suffering of African Americans due to the geography of where we live. And let me do you one better, so said Barack Obama. I still feel like I have to explain Barack Obama's presidency in the year 2026. Don't worry, I'll keep doing it. And because African Americans live in areas where the air is not clean and the water is not necessarily safe to drink, lead pipes in Milwaukee, where MP has just cleared the lead out of the school buildings, I think the start of this school year, let me provide low-cost health insurance through the Affordable Care Act as well. Those were the two most significant things that anyone has ever done for the black community, and it goes unnoticed, especially by black people. Donald Trump has rolled it all back. And the cost is going to be more dead black people. Because let me tell you something about us. We die. We die a lot. We die on accident as black people. We die on purpose. Some of us are born dead. It's very rough. It's difficult. The Trump administration on Thursday revoked a scientific finding that long has been the central basis for U.S. action to regulate greenhouse gas emissions and fight climate change, the most aggressive move by the president to roll back climate regulations. And also, we live in a lot of coastal regions, too. And I'm not going to get into the whole climate change thing because I've explained it before, and a lot of times it falls on deaf ears. But I do believe that the climate is changing due to so many years and centuries of unregulated pollution that has just been emitted into the atmosphere. All of the gas engines and the diesel engines. I just got my snowblower repaired. And I started up my snowblower after the repairs. Oh, it started right up. But the sooty, nasty, bluish, white, thick smoke that comes out of my snowblower, do you think that just disappears into the environment like fairy dust? No, it gets trapped under the Earth's atmosphere. Now, I know that Sherwin is not the only one with a snowblower or a lawnmower. Full disclosure, I have an electric lawnmower. Love it. Don't have to get it maintained. Don't have to do anything to it. Don't have to get the carburetor clean. I got a battery in my lawnmower. I love it so very much. But think about all the vehicles, all the trucks, all the diesel fumes, all of the smokestacks from production, not just here, but all over the world, especially in countries that have not really industrialized and mechanized their manufacturing systems. You still got like 2/3 of the world that still burn wood for fuel and for heat. Where does all that smoke go? It gets caught underneath the Earth's atmosphere, and it builds up. The carbon builds up. So when the sun shines on the Earth and our polar areas, North Pole and South Pole, all of that snow and all that ice cover reflects a lot of the sun's rays back into the atmosphere. But here's what happens: as we have this layer of soot and carbon building up from all of the vehicle emissions and the lawnmowers and all of the snow blowers and all of the bulldozers and all of the people in third world countries burning wood for fuel, less and less and less of the sun's rays are able to be reflected back into outer space, so that heat gets trapped underneath the Earth's atmosphere. And then the polar ice caps begin to melt. So there is less snow and ice, which is white, and white reflects heat and reflects light. There's less and less snow and ice to reflect the sun's rays and the heat back into outer space, and it heats up the Earth. Now, the Earth is big. It takes a lot of trapped heat to heat up the Earth, a lot. Think about it like this. If you take 4 ounces of water, just a little, half a cup of water, and you put it in a little pot, and you put it on the stove, and you turn the burner on high, it'll be boiling probably within a couple of minutes because it's only 4 ounces of water. Now take a big old 2-gallon big old soup pot and fill that full of water, and you put that on high heat. It's going to take a long time for that water to get very hot and to boil, because the Earth is so large and has so much water, and even our oceans act to regulate the climate and cool some of that heating. It just takes a long time. But guess what? The time is here right now, and the Earth actually is getting warmer. So that was my explanation on climate change. So anybody can refute that. If they refute that, it's because they're not very smart, because I just explained it like I would explain it to a bunch of second graders, and those second graders would take that definition that I just gave and would have a better understanding of climate change than the President of the United States. Please allow me to continue. The rule finalized the Environmental Protection Agency rescinding a 2009 government declaration known as the endangerment finding that determined that carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases endanger public health and welfare. And because this happened during the Obama administration, Donald Trump was like, we have to make sure that we're pulling back everything that Obama did, because Donald Trump knows that the laws, the bills, the policies, and the executive orders that were supported, created, and signed by Barack Obama did more to help vulnerable African-American populations than pretty much any other president in their 2 terms. And do you think for a second that Trump would let that stand? It's why he signed something like 200 executive orders in his first couple of weeks in office, because everything that helped a population of people that didn't vote for him, he wants to harm. He told you he was going to do it, and all this stuff was spelled out in Project 2025. The man is on a retribution tour, and it starts with us. First of all, black people are really easy targets because we're politically vulnerable. And a lot of us vote for Democrats. The problem is, even the black people that voted for Donald Trump live in black communities that are going to be harmed by Donald Trump's deregulation of carbon emissions and the defunding of programs that kept our neighborhoods and communities safe. So it's almost like a double whammy. Like a black person, yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump. Well, he's going to hurt you. Like, you weren't singled out as, who voted for me in the black community? Here, come with me. Come with me. You voted for me. I'm going to protect you. I wouldn't get in a vehicle with Trump because they'd probably take you to Epstein Island. What's on Epstein Island now? I wonder. On February 12, 2026, Donald Trump and EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin repealed the 2009 EPA endangerment finding, the legal foundation allowing the federal government to regulate greenhouse gas pollution under the Clean Air Act. This action effectively strips the EPA of authority to regulate climate pollution from vehicles, power plants, and industry, dismantling most federal climate and air quality protections. So I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I want to share with you how this is going to directly and more severely impact the black community by like multiples of 10. This simple rollback is it's intentionally harming black people. And I get it, the Epstein files. I'd rather us be focused on this because the Epstein files are not going to have any consequences. And I already explained why. Because there's no black people in it. Could you imagine if everybody who went to the Epstein Island was like every black rapper and Tyler Perry and all of the black people? They would have subpoenas falling from the sky. Everybody would be going to prison. It'd be the hugest scandal in the world. But because it's the president of the United States, and in the documents, they didn't redact the victims' names. No, they're making the victims relive all this all over again. In fact, the victims are being just as harmed right now as they were when this stuff originally happened, because now it's subject to public scrutiny. They are protecting the perpetrators in the Epstein files. Why would you black out the name of the person that was creating torture videos? And I don't want to know who was tortured. They said that when Jeffrey Epstein was indicted, he ordered like 240 gallons of hydrochloric acid. Like 6 barrels of hydrochloric acid. Do you know what hydrochloric acid does? It dissolves human beings. Hold on, relax. I'm not saying he did that, but why would you need 240 gallons of acid that can dissolve a human being? I'm just saying. The truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM on a lovely Valentine's Day weekend. We'll be right back.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after. An in-depth recap of every Bucks game. In 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus audio network. If you missed any of the game or just want to relive the biggest moments, Bucks in 6 provides game recaps every morning after. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis or the deep threes from Miles Turner. And catch the comments post-game about what happened on the court. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus audio network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Steinhoffel's President 5-Day Sale is happening now, and the furniture and mattress savings are so good. Start with at least 10% off store-wide, then you'll get $50 off every $4.99 you spend, plus doorbusters you gotta see in person. And if you're financing, I got something huge for you. 60 months with no interest until 2031 when you spend over $19.99, plus you'll get a $200 MasterCard reward card. It's only 5 days, so don't wait, and it's only at Steinhoffel's.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad, and I feel very proud to be his son.
That was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Hurt by a truck? Call Gruber offices. One call, that's all.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Environmental racism, the systematic placement of hazardous industry and pollution sources near black communities means African Americans already face higher pollution exposure and health risk than any other group in the U.S. So remember, yesterday, Donald Trump rescinded these environmental rules that were implemented by the Obama administration that intentionally regulates greenhouse gases, which we are already impacted by at a rate higher than other groups, but it goes a lot further. Higher exposure to pollution sources. African Americans are 75% more likely than white Americans to live near industrial facilities. Those industrial facilities can now pollute more because Donald Trump rolled back all the regulations on their smokestacks. Oh, it gets better. Up to 3 times more likely to live near toxic waste sites, highways, refineries, and power plants. Living near a highway. So Milwaukee has I-43 that goes north. And if you're traveling, let's say, between Locust and Capitol, going either north or south on 43. And if you look to your east or your west while you're traveling north or south on I-43 between, say, Locust and Capitol, you see houses on either side of the freeway. Where the freeway is used to be a neighborhood. So they bulldozed something like 8,000 African-American owned homes and businesses to build the highway. And so there's a highway that goes directly through our neighborhood. So just know and understand that the people that live adjacent to the freeway are subjected to the pollution from the tailpipes of the vehicles, and it's cumulative over years and over generations. So regulating tailpipe emissions and increasing fuel efficiency standards isn't just smart for the environment. It is something that can help mitigate this thing called environmental racism that impacts African Americans more than anybody else. Donald Trump has rolled all of that back, and it was done on purpose. The problem is when Trump says stuff, people get their understanding and information about what the federal government is doing from what Trump is saying. Trump is not going to tell you everything, and he's going to lie. We have to read between the lines and look at what the administration is actually doing very, very carefully, because there'll be all these other distractions that we will be focused on. At the same time, they'll be taking away regulations that are going to harm an already vulnerable community. And when more of us get sick and when more of us die, because you know black folks love to die, we're just going to blame the Democrats that have been elected in our neighborhoods and our communities. The Democrats that we elect live in the same communities as us, and they're subjected to this death too. African Americans are up to 3 times more likely to live near toxic waste sites, highways, refineries, and power plants. African Americans are more likely to live in urban heat islands where rising temperatures intensify smog formation. Weakening EPA authority allows power plants, refineries, and heavy industry, often located near black neighborhoods, to increase emissions with fewer restrictions. This is exactly what Trump did, and he did it on purpose. And we're wondering, because Trump is doing all this stuff with the migrants and he's deporting, even though he's not deporting them, they're being held essentially in concentration camps, in detention centers. People are wondering, oh, snap, black people are next. He's going to get us next. He is. And here's the best part about it for him and the worst part about it for us. We don't recognize it. Because everybody's waiting like, oh, no. What's he going to do for black folks? He's going to hurt us. He's going to harm us. He is. And it's going to end up being long-term consequences on our health, our safety, and our well-being. It's not immediate. He's not like unleashing the police on us. Well, they're doing that too. But this is much more pervasive. Think of this. We're slowly gassing the black community. These regulations curtailed some of the toxic emissions. Now the regulations are gone. We're being gassed. Weakening EPA authority allows power plants, refineries, and heavy industry often located near black neighborhoods to increase emissions with fewer restrictions. This directly increases fine particulate matter, ozone and smog, nitrogen oxide, and sulfur dioxide. I'm going to read those again because there's health consequences. I just want you to know this stuff. I don't expect you to memorize it. Fine particulate matter, more than 2.5 parts per million, smog, ozone, nitrogen oxides, and sulfur dioxide. So more of those things I just mentioned are going to be emitted into our community. All of those things I just listed are linked to heart attacks, strokes, Asthma and cancer. Respiratory disease impact will worsen. African Americans already suffer 40% higher asthma prevalence, 3 times higher asthma mortality. We die from asthma 3 times more than any other racial group. And all of these things are going to get worse. And so when you roll back these regulations, all of these things are going to get worse. This is a death to our community. Now, remember, the Obama era put these regulations in because they got this same information. So the statistics and the data that presidential administrations get, one administration gives it to another because they all have records of this. And somebody in Trump's cabinet was like, wait a minute. Obama put in a lot of regulations that are going to curtail these poisons and these emissions that are killing black people. Trump said, roll it back. They don't vote for Trump. They don't love Trump at all. Roll back the regulations. Respiratory diseases for African Americans will worsen. African Americans already suffer 40% higher asthma prevalence, 3 times higher asthma mortality, higher hospitalization rates for respiratory illnesses. Rolling back vehicle and power plant standards will increase smog and particulate pollution, worsening asthma severity and increasing emergency visits and death of black people. Oh, there's more. Because remember, this is all under the umbrella of DEI. Regulating the emissions from vehicles and from power plants, Trump considers DEI, and everything related to DEI is rolled back. Think of DEI as anything that tried to make up for past wrongs and transgressions against the black community. So for those of you thinking you're getting reparations, all I can say is this. I hope you get a big tax return because that's probably your only reparations. Cardiovascular deaths will rise. Air pollution is a leading cause of cardiovascular mortality or heart attacks, particularly in communities with high poverty, high stress, limited healthcare access. African Americans experience 30% higher heart disease mortality and 40% stroke mortality. And the regulations that were put in place to mitigate these numbers have just been removed. What do you think is going to happen to these numbers? Let's talk to Andy. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you, Andy?
I'm grateful. I'm very thankful that you are alerting the listeners to these facts because people don't. The American public are asleep. Black people appear to be asleep to the very real danger that is occurring right now, and so. Thank you for listing the hazards of this EPA event that just happened. I also wanted to add that air pollution causes dementia.
Oh, wow.
Look it up. It causes dementia. In addition to heart attack, strokes, worsening asthma, it causes dementia. And so we get wildfire smoke, and it's probably from Canada, and it's probably going to get worse this year, next year. We get wildfire smoke, and so it's really important for people to look, not wait for the the meteorologist to tell you, the air quality is bad. Go to www.airnow.gov and look at the air quality because it causes dementia, and so. People need to understand that. And again, I just want to thank you for alerting your listeners and black people know that the danger is right now. It's right now. They are building, they're buying warehouses throughout the country to house who? You think it's just immigrants, or they're buying them? They're spending billions of dollars to house people, and so I believe it's probably concentration camps. They don't care about the First Amendment, the right to protest. Protesters are being surveilled through artificial intelligence, through facial recognition, through the ICE officers have goggles and glasses that can and information look at your facial recognition, and also search your phones, your contacts, your text messages. So the danger is now, and people just appear to be, I don't know if they're overworked and whatever, they just appear to be asleep. But don't wait until it impacts you personally. The danger is right here, right now.
Thank you, Andy. Appreciate your call.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Many years ago, I once had a caller say, because I was delivering information and statistics, like stuff that is deeply buried in the fine print that I think is relevant because the information that we don't read, the fine print, is where the harm is for us. And I want us to at least know where the harm is coming from. So who knows what I'm going on about. And I remember this lady called in and she said, Sherwin, I appreciate what you're saying, but trying to wake our people up is like putting an alarm clock in a cemetery. Bars! I was like, damn! Because it is. It is, because it's hard to conceptualize that there's still someone, something, forces, a whole political party that's working in unison. Because one thing I will say about the Trump administration, he's got the Republicans on lock. They're protecting this dude. They're protecting the worst things that a human being could possibly do, implementing harm on the American people. And Andy was right. They're spying on us. Here's what I come to find out. When you die, the file the FBI has on you, and they have a file on everybody. Now I'd imagine those files are probably growing. It's why they need data centers. It's not just us taking a bunch of pictures and uploading stuff to the cloud. That's some of it. The government needs a hell of a lot more storage, too, because the files that they have on Americans, especially those who might be opposed to this administration, the files are growing, right? So since somebody told me this, I've been afraid to use it because, I'm already on all their lists anyway. You hear some of the stuff that I say? Sheesh. So when somebody dies, you can make a free open records request of the file the FBI has on the deceased. And it's one of the reasons why so much information was released and declassified after Dr. King died. Like, the information was always there. I think people just didn't know that they could request it. So if you had, an activist that you knew growing up and, someone who was, always pushing back against the government, and they had many, many years of organizing protests, I assure you, especially if they were African-American or any other kind of minority, or even a labor leader, because labor over the years and over the centuries has really been a target of the hardcore right and the conservatives. You can request the file that the FBI has on them. And I found this out because one of my friends was like, "Oh, Sherwin, I can't wait till you die so I can get your file." I said, "Hey, but then I thought about it. I'm like, oh, well, other than him not being able to wait till when I die, which I think he said in jest, I'd be curious to know what they have on me." So there you go, a little information. You can request the file from the FBI after someone is deceased of the file that the FBI has on that person. Let's take a break, come back, continue giving you guys the information about the harms that are going to be inflicted on the African-American community with Donald Trump's rolling back of these EPA regulations. And it was a really big deal for the president because the director of the EPA, as he's reading all the rollbacks of these environmental regulations, and we know that environmental racism exists, one of the many different forms of racism, Trump was actually standing behind the EPA director because they were so proud of rolling back these regulations. And it is intentional and it is on purpose, harming people and harming communities that we know not only push back on Donald Trump, we openly disagree with him, and we did not vote for him. And so he's getting back at us. Because the federal government has that kind of power. It is why we need to be really, really careful, hopefully from this point forward, on who we decide to put in that Oval Office. Because the consequences for us could be deadly. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
Truth Nation, it's time once again to celebrate excellence, passion, and the power of community at the second annual Truth Community Awards, happening Friday, February 20th at Venue 3 inside the 3rd Street Market Hall in downtown Milwaukee. This award show will honor the unsung heroes who show up, give back, and make a positive impact in our community every single day. We're rolling out the red carpet and showing love to those who truly deserve it. Buy your tickets now by visiting 1017thetruthAwards.com. Tickets are just $20, which includes free food and exclusive Truth giveaways. Join the 1017 The Truth team for an unforgettable night of entertainment, inspiration, and community pride at the second annual Truth Community Awards on Friday, February 20th at Venue 3 in Milwaukee. The Truth Community Awards are presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffels, Milwaukee College Prep, Cousin Subs, Venue 3 at the 3rd Street Market Hall, and the Milwaukee Bucks Foundation.
I take care of the kids, and I take care of my dad. I take care of things at work. The groceries, the cleanups, the meltdowns, the doctor's visits, the family events, mealtimes, bedtimes. I take care of all the things everyone else needs. But I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Family caregivers are often overloaded. It can feel overwhelming and exhausting. It's no surprise that millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression every year. But help is available because there may only be one you, but you don't have to do it alone. Head to mentalhealthcareworks.org. That's mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve, because mental health care works when you make the call. If you're experiencing a mental health crisis or thoughts of suicide, dial 988, a message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The Environmental Protection Agency has walked back a landmark environmental decision to regulate greenhouse gas emissions and fight climate change, calling it the single biggest deregulatory action in American history. The EPA proudly announced yesterday that it was eliminating both the Obama-era 2009 greenhouse gas endangerment finding, which is 210 pages, that says that black people are harmed by these emissions, and all subsequent federal greenhouse gas emission standards for all vehicles and engines of model years 2012 to 2027. Disproportionate pollution and exposure and measurable health harm in African American urban communities. 1. Measurable disparities. African Americans are 75% more likely than whites to live near industrial facilities, which are now deregulated, and 38% more likely to be exposed to traffic-related air pollution. 71% of black Americans live in counties currently violating federal air pollution standards compared to 58% of whites. Black Americans are exposed to 1.54 times more fine particulate pollution, PM 2.5 is what they call it, than whites independent of their income. So even higher income blacks are more likely to be exposed to the fine particulate pollution. Guess what? It causes cancer. mechanisms on how this happens. Historical redlining, zoning, discrimination, and industrial placement decisions are concentrated. Highways, refineries, chemical plants, ports, waste facilities in predominantly black neighborhoods. So, when people say the black community is segregated and, redline, you guys know about that stuff. I think that's probably about as far as people's history goes. It's like, Milwaukee's segregated because they used to redline. Why do you think they picked the neighborhoods and the geography they did to put us? Do you ever think about that? Why did they pick the near north side of all the place, all the spaces? Milwaukee is almost 100 square miles. It's 96.1 square miles. When Vel Phillips got elected to what was then the 2nd Aldermanic District in, 1956, all the black people in the city fit in one aldermanic district. Just to give you an example of how our population has grown in this city since 1956, there are 8 African-American alders, meaning in 8 of the 15 aldermanic districts, there are enough people and enough registered voters to put a black majority on the Common Council. But when Vel Phillips was elected, the first African-American, and I think the first woman as well, and I think it's 1956. I'm sure some of y'all will look it up. We all fit in one single aldermanic district. And why do you think when the city was developing its plan and when African Americans were coming up here from the South to get industrial employment, why do you think they picked the land that they picked for our housing, where we could live? Because you couldn't live on the South Side. You couldn't live in the suburbs because of the housing covenants. They picked the area where African Americans were going to live because it was the most polluted and the most dangerous. And we have since regulated some of those environmental contaminants, and black people have just kind of left. There's still a disproportionate amount of us that live on the north side, still a large number of us that live next to freeways and live next to those old industrial plants. Even though those plants are shuttered and they're closed, the pollutants are still there. We have these things called brownfields, where you wonder why, like up and down Center Street and other corridors, why those old buildings are still there. They're empty. They used to be old factories. They're so polluted that the cost to tear them down and all of the remediation you would have to do of the asbestos and all the other chemicals they used to use back in the day, it's so bad and it's so expensive, they just leave the buildings there, and they are still toxic. I'm just trying to get people to understand the gravity of what Donald Trump did. And because this is going to get tremendous Republican support, just know the Republican policies are genocide for black people. There's no other way you can look at it. I know you want to change your mind. I know you want to look at other ways in which you probably agree with Republicans, and you can do that. But by and large, when it comes to sweeping legislation that was designed to make sure that black people could live better, healthier lives, that all has been rolled back by this president. Examples would be in the Bronx, where there's a large concentration of African Americans. It's nicknamed Asthma Alley. The south side of Chicago, Houston, Texas, Memphis, Tennessee, Baton Rouge, and Newark, New Jersey, all considered Cancer Alley. Asthma disparities, one of the strongest indicators of how this legislation is going to harm black people, especially black children. Black Americans are 40 to 42% more likely to develop asthma, 5 times more likely to visit emergency rooms for asthma, 3 times more likely to die from asthma. Black children are 8 times more likely to die from asthma than white children. That's all you need. That's all you need. How do you punish the blacks? Take away environmental protections and regulations. It's simple, because we don't even know it, and we're on such intimate terms with death as black people, we just think it's normal. Exposure to particulate matter 2.5 like nitrogen dioxide, ozone, diesel exhaust, and industrial chemical drives, airway inflammation, lung underdevelopment in utero. That's when black women are pregnant. The lungs of black children underdeveloped because of this pollution. It's a genocide, but we don't. I think we only have one definition of genocide. It's bigger than that one definition. Chronic bronchitis and permanent lung damage, cancer risk from industrial pollution. It just goes on and on and on. And as the president was likely briefed on this data, he was like, oh, this is wonderful. We will get rid of him. We are an impediment to his power because we don't vote for him. And I hope, big hope, that we continue to be an impediment to his power, not because of how you personally feel about Donald Trump. It's because of the policies that he implements and supports, and then the additional support that he gets from the Republican Party that also, mind you, while they're supporting these policies that are going to make black people sicker and die faster, they're also shielding people who are known pedophiles. So I'm not asking y'all to go out and change the world at all, but register, which they're going to try and make that harder as well. The good news is the SAVE Act, which is going to require people to prove their citizenship when they go and vote. They're going to try and implement that before the November 2026 election. So if Donald Trump is unable to federalize our elections in November, the midterm elections, they have a backup plan, which is the SAVE Act, which is going to require people to prove their citizenship. Where, I mean, a lot of people will be able to do that, but there's some folks, like the small percentages of people that aren't going to go to the bother of getting a passport or bringing the birth certificate. That could be enough to decide the governor's race in the state of Wisconsin. Because going back a couple of different election cycles, our governor's races were decided by 30,000 votes or less. And so if the SAVE Act is implemented, I don't think it will be, but if it is implemented, there very well could be 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 people that would likely vote for the Democratic candidate for governor that won't go to the trouble of providing the additional documentation they'll need to prove their citizenship. And they're disguising it as, oh, all these illegals are coming here and voting. Do you think the kind of scrutiny that someone is under if you're in this country illegally, do you think that they're going to try to also vote? Think about how stupid that is. But it ain't that stupid because Americans believe it. We need to have a SAVE Act because all these illegals are voting. If you're not in the country legally, some people ain't even leaving the house. Why? And they know they can't vote. In no election, if you're not a citizen, you can't vote. Why would they even risk that? It's ridiculous. They know that African Americans, because we're the biggest voting bloc for the Democrats, we would be impacted by the SAVE Act. But to get some black folks to believe that it's just about migrants, that's what you tell us. Until we get to the polls and they say, hey, do you have proof of citizenship? And then an unwitting black person who doesn't really pay attention to politics that may not know the SAVE Act exists will say, oh, no, I voted here before. And then the poll worker will be like, ooh, new rules. You got to go get your birth certificate and a passport if you want to go and vote. And then the black person may argue. I just stood in line for 2 hours to vote for David Crowley. You're going to make me prove that I'm a citizen. I've been voting here for 20 years. Doesn't matter, Blackie. Go get your documents. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. The award-winning 101.7 The Truth proudly celebrates Black excellence and the most monumental moments in our history. All month long, we're honoring the voices, the stories, and the achievements that have shaped our past, empowered our present, and continue to inspire our future. Tune in for Dr. Ken's Trivia, spotlighting powerful facts and moments you need to know, and Tori Lowe's Our Voices, Our Stories, amplifying the youth, perspectives, and lived experiences that define who we are. Tune in all month long as 101.7 The Truth lifts up the legacy, the brilliance, and the power of Black history. Because Black history isn't just history, it's happening every day. 101.7 The Truth's celebration of Black History Month is proudly sponsored by Educators Credit Union and Tayback Law. Celebrating Black excellence, celebrating our history. All month long on 101.7 The Truth.
Steinhoffel's President 5-Day Sale is happening now, and the furniture and mattress savings are so good. Start with at least 10% off store-wide, then you'll get $50 off every $4.99 you spend, plus doorbusters you gotta see in person. And if you're financing, I got something huge for you. 60 months with no interest until 2031 when you spend over $19.99, plus you'll get a $200 MasterCard reward card. It's only 5 days, so don't wait, and it's only at Steinhoffel's.
Your taste buds are in luck. The Reuben is back at Cousin Subs. Try this classic sub grilled to order just for you. Stacked with corned beef, Wisconsin Swiss cheese, and sauerkraut topped with Thousand Island dressing and served on rye bread. And our delicious mint shake is back. Both the Reuben and mint shake can be ordered via the Cousins app or online for a limited time only. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good. Because today, I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org and donate if you can. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious accident? It's free. Yes, free, as in it won't cost you anything to speak with us. There's never a fee until we win your case. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Prizes, exclusive experiences, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting truthcontests.com. That's truthcontests.com.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The award-winning 1017 The Truth proudly celebrates Black excellence and the most monumental moments in our history. All month, we're honoring the voices, the stories, and the achievements that have shaped our past, empowered our present, and continue to inspire our future. Tune in to Dr. Ken's Trivia, spotlighting powerful facts and moments you need to know, and Tori Lowe's Our Voices, Our Stories, amplifying the youth, perspectives, and lived experiences that define who we are. Tune in all February as 1017 The Truth lifts up the legacy, the brilliance, and the power of Black history. It's happening every day. 1017 The Truth's celebration of Black History Month is proudly sponsored by Educators Credit Union. I am discussing the impacts of rolling back the EPA regulations that the Obama administration identified as exceptionally harmful to African American communities. Milwaukee is included in some of the information that I have because of the environmental impacts of where we live and the neighborhoods we were originally segregated into, but also lead in our drinking water, which we know disproportionately impacts certain zip codes. But it's not just here. It's a place in Louisiana called Cancer Alley. It's an 85-mile stretch of where like 150 or more petrochemical plants are located, and it's a predominantly African-American area. It's cancer, it's asthma, it's cardiovascular disease, it's pulmonary problems, and miscarriages amongst Black women. This is environmental racism. The land in which African-Americans were permitted to settle is the worst, the most unwanted, the least fertile, the most toxic, and the most poisonous. And you should not be shocked by that, because I think that we feel like our progress is cumulative. Like, oh, we got this. We got a Black person elected to this, or a Black person made this progress. Like, all of that is fantastic. But just know the forces that created these disparities are really, really hard at work. And what I don't want is for us to make their work easier. Somebody remarked in the YouTube comments, if you haven't done so already, go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device, search 1017 The Truth and hit subscribe. They're like, oh, well, what the damage has been done. What do we do? Well, there's a political party that does not have nearly as much baggage when it comes to the institutional harm that this administration is doing willingly. And I have a whole nother thing I want to share with you guys. We're going to lighten things up a little bit with the Milwaukee experience. But when I come back to this data, what's cumulative is the harm that's being done and the erasure of our progress. And they're doing it even one better. Like, they're erasing the names of African Americans who had monuments and who were noted on the Department of Defense's website, and taking black names off of monuments and just erasing our history and taking things that commemorate notable black people that can inspire a whole nother generation of not just black children, but just everybody. They're removing that stuff from the Smithsonian. It is a really slow genocide. And I think that black folks, unfortunately, we have a really high tolerance for pain. And we just take it. We just deal with, oh, that's just a part of it. No, it shouldn't be. We should not be making the work of racism easier. We need racism to fight every single day if it's going to defeat us. And us doing nothing when we take days off, it does not. I don't know how many more examples I have to give y'all to illustrate how afraid they are of us and our progress. They're scared to death. They're panicking. Unnecessarily, I think, because we're all better as Americans. But if they're going to keep their foot on the gas pedal of eliminating our history and wanting to roll back our progress, well, then we got to keep our foot on the gas pedal too. The first thing, though, is information. You got to inform yourself, because if you don't know what they're doing, it's hard to combat it. I think that we need a comprehensive agenda. When I say we need a comprehensive agenda, this is not a bunch of black people sitting in a room trying to figure out, what our issues are. We'll just sit there and argue. But if we are each informed, then the conversation that we have with our existing elected officials can help push them to create legislation that can better protect us and better shield us. And when candidates for whatever office, even Republicans, when they come to us, but don't worry about the Republicans coming to us because they don't need us. But if they do, if they come to our community, we say, hey, look, what are you doing about environmental racism? What are you doing about all of the rollbacks of diversity, equity, and inclusion, which include all of the things that investments that were made in the black community and after-school programs for black youth and, additional resources for tutors in our schools, or whatever the case may be. We need to ask them about those things. But if we don't know, or if we just relegate black kids to being dumb, then they win that day. So the more we know, the less they get away with. They want to keep everything shielded and undercover. And that's how they win. But once something is undercovered, especially scandal, it is our obligation to know it, to understand it, and to push back on it. But if you don't know what's happening to you, you don't know what to push back on. Because I'm getting tired, because it's playing over and over and over again, the same chorus. Oh, these Democrats, they ain't doing nothing for black people. Do you have any idea of what the Republicans are doing to black people? And the Democrats, a lot of times, they're victims just like we are, because what can they do if they're in the minority? What can they do? Nothing. Sit and watch, complain, get on TV and grandstand. They don't have any policy teeth. Now, here's the good news. Us single-handedly have the ability and have the power to put in a political party that can at least stop the bleed. Now, the Democrats are not going to fix everything. They can't. But they can stop the hemorrhaging. I also have come to find out this new kind of racism, and it goes back to the days of slavery, called Mandingo fighting. You guys familiar with that? If you've seen the movie Django, you see a Mandingo fight. They love when we hate each other. They get off on it. They love it. They love when we fight. They love when we argue. They love when we disagree. They love when we can't get stuff done. They love when majority black legislators are just yelling and screaming and arguing. Yeah, they love it. Stop giving that to them, because that's a form of racism, too. They literally have a fetish for it, and it goes back to Mandingo fighting. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back for Hour 3.
Truth Nation, it's time once again to celebrate excellence, passion, and the power of community at the second annual Truth Community Awards, happening Friday, February 20th at Venue 3 inside the 3rd Street Market Hall in downtown Milwaukee. This award show will honor the unsung heroes who show up, give back, and make a positive impact in our community every single day. we are rolling out the red carpet and showing love to those who truly deserve it. Buy your tickets now by visiting 1017thetruthAwards.com. Tickets are just $20, which includes free food and exclusive Truth giveaways. Join the 1017 The Truth team for an unforgettable night of entertainment, inspiration, and community pride at the 2nd Annual Truth Community Awards on Friday, February 20th at Venue 3 in Milwaukee. The Truth Community Awards are sponsored by Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffels, Milwaukee College Prep, Cousin Subs, Venue 3 at the 3rd Street Market Hall, and the Milwaukee Bucks Foundation.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day, too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely. But thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
All of your favorite 1017 The Truth content whenever you want. The Truth app has it all. The Truth is on 1017 and 1510 WGKB Waukesha, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. And you know what that music means. You know what it means. It's time for the Milwaukee Experience, where we share with you some of the wonderful things that Milwaukee has to offer as far as nightlife and entertainment. And, of course, one of my favorites, dining. You know, this weekend is Valentine's Day. It is a weekend for lovers. So I want to make sure that you guys have ample options and opportunity to explore some of the more delicious things to do in the city of Milwaukee, whether you're with your friend, with or without benefits, your lover, your fiance, your wife, or your side piece. I think all of you deserve to be happy and to find something that is fun, exciting, and inviting to do. And our city has no shortage of these things. So I'm going to give you a handful of restaurants that I think are excellent for two people to enjoy their time together in a romantic, intimate setting with excellent service and incredible food. Okay? Now, let me be clear. This is not for the bargain shopper. If you want to go to the Applebee's, or if you want to go to the Chili's, or if you want to go to Costco and get a slice of pizza and a hot dog, all of those options are still available. So I hear a lot of complaints from folks that say, oh, Sherwin, those restaurants that you've named are so very expensive. You are paying for more than the food. You are paying for the experience and the ambiance and the atmosphere. And that does come at a cost. Now, here's the other thing. These are not places I recommend you go out to eat every single weekend, because you will go broke. and your standard for delicious food and cuisine will be so incredibly high that you'll probably never want to cook at home again. I think one of my absolute favorites is an establishment in downtown called Loopy and Iris, and they're located at 777 North Van Buren. And their story is Loopy and Iris is Milwaukee's sophisticated dining destination created by James Beard award-winning chef Adam Siegel. Shout out to Chef Adam. This restaurant embodies Adam's vision for excellence in fine cuisine, exceptional service, and elevated design. Named in honor of Adam's father-in-law, Ron Loopy, Loopy and Iris reflects a deep respect for family and the joy of gathering over great meals. Adam's mission is to craft memorable dining experiences for guests celebrating the love of food, wine, and good company. He manages Loopy and Iris in conjunction with his wife, Daria Aitken Siegel, who is also the restaurant's in-house florist. You walk in and you are greeted with these beautiful dark hardwood appointments, and there's a person standing right there to greet you and taking your reservation, which I would highly, highly recommend, especially on a busy weekend like this. And you can just feel the class exuding from this establishment. It is absolutely one of my favorites. But here's the thing now, it's not inexpensive, but I think you will find it to be worth it. It's French and Italian inspired cuisine. Because they changed the menu with great frequency and the availability of fresh ingredients, I would say go to their website and check out the offerings that they have available. Another favorite, right on 60th and North Avenue, so still in the city of Milwaukee. It's not very well known, and they're only open a couple of days a week. I've been there once, and I was moved by the experience of Ca Lucenzo. It's right on 60th and North Avenue, and it is a unique Italian fusion type of restaurant. So a lot of the restaurants that I'm going to list are probably Italian or different types of fusion, because American restaurants, I got a couple of steak joints on the list, but there's something about Italian food that's so romantic. Maybe it's because of that scene in The Lady and the Tramp where the two dogs are sharing a spaghetti noodle. Question, have any of y'all ever done that before? Whatever. The room is brighter and seems larger than it was in the comfy, casual Juniper 61 in East Tulsa. From our foretop in the corner, they watch vessels sailing out to different tables. Here at the new pasta restaurant, Ca Lucenzo, thick hunks of fresh focaccia and bowls inches deep of al dente carbs are topped with sauces and fresh herbs. This food critic, Ann Christensen, said she hadn't looked closely at the menu yet, but she knew one of the dishes that she was going to order, the Sardinian gnocchi with lamb ragu. She said, my friends had been talking about it ever since they had it months ago at a Milwaukee chef's dinner, where Ca Lucenzo chef and co-owner Zach Baker had prepared the dish as one of the courses. So they have something special in particular going on for Valentine's Day at Ca Lucenzo right there on 60th and North Avenue. It's a 5-course meal with the appropriate wine pairings for each of the courses. It's not cheap, but it is an experience that I think most of you would enjoy if you're looking to do something fun and unique and special for Valentine's Day. This is one of my top recommendations. Ca Lucenzo on 60th and North Avenue. Well, and then of course you got, I kind of hate to mention this, the Capitol Grill is actually okay. Right at about 6th and Wisconsin Avenue, no, 4th and Wisconsin, excuse me. It is classic supper club-esque fine dining known for their steaks. They actually have fairly decent specials for lunch as well. But if you're going to go to the Capitol Grill, here is what I would recommend if you're going to go for Valentine's Day. This is my recommendation only. You have the main restaurant that has both white linen table seating and also booths. And booths can be comfortable and cozy, of course. But I would recommend the bar area. So the bar area, which is a little bit smaller, it's a little cozier, it's a little bit more intimate, and they have tables, only a handful of them, right along the wall in the bar area. And I find that to be a much more inviting setting if you just want to spend time with you and one other person. If you're going out in a group, Galentine's Day, then the bar area is not for you. And also the bar area where they just have a small collection of tables right along the wall will fill up very, very quickly. And you will see why when you get there, because it really is a quiet, dimly lit, intimate setting. One thing I will give the Capitol Grill credit for is they have got incredible service. I've been there more times than I can count. And the service, if service is something that you regard very, very high, then I think the Capitol Grill certainly is worth your consideration for Valentine's Day. What else do we have? You can't have a list of wonderful and inviting places to go in the city of Milwaukee, especially for a lover's weekend. You got to put Moe's, a place for steaks, on that list. This is hands down. This is my favorite restaurant in the city of Milwaukee. There's no doubt about it. I've never been disappointed. The food is reliably delicious. The service is impeccable. And if you happen to imbibe in the alcohols, if you're going to drink, ladies and gentlemen, please drink responsibly. But at Moe's, they make it hard to drink responsibly because I tell you what, they sure have a heavy pour. And it's not just steaks, even though that is what they are known for. Their bone-in ribeye and their filet mignon are probably some of the best I've ever had, and I've had steaks in probably better than 25 or 30 cities in this country. Moe's is at the top of the list no matter where I travel to, but they also have a really, really great selection of seafood and appetizers and chicken. They have got some really, really incredible, the meatballs, the bruschetta, the calamari and rock shrimp, which is like, I'll go to Moe's and just get myself, sit at the bar, get a beverage, order the calamari and the rock shrimp, and I'll be content with that. Their shrimp cocktail, them big jumbo shrimp. Ladies, I don't know if I would get the shrimp cocktail if I were you, because you will find that shrimp and that shrimp cocktail might be bigger than your man's manhood. I'm just saying, the shrimp, they're very large. They're big shrimp. They're delicious. And of course, the service is top notch. I know that for our community in particular, because we want to be treated with dignity and respect, because a lot of places do not afford that to us. The places that I am listing, now you also have to be respectful of the dining environment that you are in. Dress up a little bit. You know, I get a little disappointed when someone goes out to what I call a restaurant of occasion. And this is not just about like feeding yourself because you're hungry. Like, oh, I don't want to cook, let me go to one of these restaurants. No, this is an event. This is an occasion, and I really appreciate it. And so does the staff, and so do the other diners that take this kind of going out to eat seriously. Dress the part. And I know there's a difference with younger generations. They sometimes don't dress up, and they can prove that they can dress any old kind of way, you know, sagging pants and athletic gear. Oh, they can be in this restaurant too because they have money, and we totally understand that. But there is a culture that you were walking into that I personally think is colorblind, because fine dining and that kind of etiquette, it knows no race and it knows no ethnicity. Remember, these are occasions. These are special events, these places that I'm listing. This is not for everyday dining, and because it is kind of a rarity, I think it is important to dress the part. And also, you get taken more seriously. How we dress and how we present ourselves is the nonverbal language in which we are speaking to the world, because we carefully and consciously choose our clothes and our outfits. That is how we are communicating to the world how we want to be considered. So if you're going to be doing any of these things, any of these restaurants, I would highly consider, you know, and dressing up a little bit. And plus, ain't it more fun to dress up? And fellas, let me tell you, when you put on a nice suit, how a woman reacts to a man in a suit is like how we as men react to a woman wearing some beautiful lacy lingerie. No, really, I'm serious. They really like the suits. Women, please back me up on this. You'd rather see a man wearing a nice suit with his shoulders just poured into it than him wearing some jeans hanging off of his butt. The last one I'm going to recommend, and this one it's a newer establishment, and I'm also a fan of this establishment because they have an African-American manager who makes sure that the service that you get at this particular establishment is top-notch, and it's the Bridgewater Modern Grill. In the summertime, it is one of my favorite Sunday fun day destinations because it's right there on the Milwaukee River and you can see the boats going to and fro. It is located at 211 South 1st Street in the city of Milwaukee. They have an excellent happy hour. They probably have one of the finest brunches you'll find anywhere around, and their dinner menu is probably top 3, certainly top 5 in the city of Milwaukee. And also the Bridgewater Modern Grill, located at 211 South 1st Street, can be found online at bridgewatermke.com. That is bridgewatermke.com. They feature as some of the appetizers the tuna tartare, pork belly, which is oak fired with a soy ginger glaze and cilantro, and probably one of the finest crab cakes you're going to find anywhere west of Boston. They also have filet medallions, grass-fed ribeyes, hanger steaks, and some of the most tender baby back ribs you may find north of the Mason-Dixon line. Hope you guys take some of these suggestions and recommendations and have an absolutely lovely and delightful and affection-filled Valentine's Day weekend. I was told to also do a segment on relationships and relationship advice because, you know, it is the weekend for lovers, but I don't know if you're ready. If you do indeed have relationship questions and you want sage advice, by all means, 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. But I'm not giving you all any unsolicited advice. Only if you want to ask Dr. Love himself will he provide the answers to all of your relationship questions, concerns, and potentially woes. Thank you guys for tuning into The Truth with Sherwin Hughes and the Milwaukee Experience, presented by our friends and our partners over at Visit Milwaukee. You can check them out for all of the things to do this weekend and beyond at visitmilwaukee.org. That is visitmilwaukee.org. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
On Sunday afternoon, the Milwaukee Panthers return home to face in-state rival UW Green Bay Phoenix at the UWM Panther Arena for the Battle of I-43.
Loop a pass, baseline right, Franklin, in on Cotton, reverse layup. Oh, that was pretty. Elam, wrap a pass, left corner, Jackson, trigger three, and he hits it.
Scott Warris has the coverage starting at 1:30 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 2 o'clock.
Steinhoffel's President 5-Day Sale is happening now, and the furniture and mattress savings are so good. Start with at least 10% off store-wide, then you'll get $50 off every $4.99 you spend, plus doorbusters you gotta see in person. And if you're financing, I got something huge for you. 60 months with no interest until 2031 when you spend over $19.99, plus you'll get a $200 MasterCard reward card. It's only 5 days, so don't wait, and it's only at Steinhoffel's.
Here's a dose of reality. Driving under the influence of prescription painkillers is just as illegal and just as deadly as driving drunk. In fact, there are nearly 2,000 drug-related crashes every year in Wisconsin. Help prevent drug driving, and let's achieve zero preventable deaths on Wisconsin roadways. Driving on pills kills. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Departments of Health Services, Transportation, and Justice.
People don't realize that glaucoma is one of the leading causes of blindness.
Because there are often no early symptoms, nearly half of those with glaucoma may not even know they have it until vision loss has occurred.
I was diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma in July of 2020.
And what we found out at that point was I had already lost 40% of my sight. And you think it only affects people that are, 75 or older, retired, grandparents, and that's not the reality of it.
I didn't think at all glaucoma was going to affect me because I didn't know of anyone that had glaucoma, no one in my family. When you have glaucoma, you can't get back that sight that you lost. And so early detection and treatment is vitally, vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a Bright Focus Foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Molove says, you can tell us about this bougie restaurant, but you can't tell us where to go get some fish. Look here, man, or woman. You can go get fish anywhere. Go to the Five Corners Fish Market on 60th and Lisbon. Go get you some perch. How's that? I ain't got to tell you everywhere I go. I love y'all, but damn it, I don't want to see y'all sometimes. Now, I gave you some great places to go. I want y'all to try something different. It's damn Valentine's Day now. Go somewhere and go to a nice place. Get no damn fish fry on Valentine's Day. You're supposed to be trying to hump. You're mad at me because I won't tell you where. Y'all just want to go where I go. I told you where I go. I go to those places. Somebody asking for a discount code. Don't be cheap. Who was that? Who said that? Mile said, which one of them gets your referral discount? You need one, especially since you are giving them free ads. Well, yeah, because I want to promote some of the things that we have in this city that most people would never hear about. We don't venture outside of our comfort zone. I think that only limits us. There's so much to do in this city. You ain't got to go to Chicago. You don't have to travel. If I look at what I do when I go on vacation, and I don't really take many vacations because the more I find out about what's happening in this city, the less I need to go get on a flight and do the same stuff. And here I can go have a wonderful night, have some great experiences, have some fantastic food, and get great service, and be home in 10 minutes. So I'm going to continue to promote what we have here because I don't want folks saying, oh, there's nothing to do in Milwaukee. That's because I think we're limited. Go try something new. A lot of times if we meet new people, they have their favorite places, and that's a way in which we can explore different parts of the city. But if you are just hanging out with the same friends and the same family, you may not venture out to places that are new and that are different. That's why I want to try and showcase some of those spots here. Now, let me say, fair warning, the places I listed are not cheap. We don't do cheap here. Cheap exists 364 days of the year. Every now and again, you got to splurge. You work really hard. I know a lot of you do. You earn it. Now, again, these are not places that you should be getting addicted to because you will need a part-time job to deal with some of these prices. But it isn't just the food. I want people to savor the environment and the atmosphere. It is an occasion. And dress like it's an occasion, and you act and present yourself like it is an occasion. The etiquette is required. Sophistication is the default setting. All right? Now, happy hunting out there, everybody. Unless you're one of them ladies doing Galentine's Day. Can somebody explain that to me? You guys are just celebrating you don't have a man? Because guys don't do that. In fact, if a bunch of my single guy friends call me up, it'd be on a group text. Hey, dog. Hey, y'all want to get together and just get some wine, some champagne, and go out to eat? No, I don't want to do any of that with you, sir. Why not? We ain't got nothing going on. Y'all want to go to a place that's real romantic and get a bucket of champagne on ice, and we can sit around and cry together? No, I don't want to do that. Let's talk to... Hi, Al. What do you have planned for the Valentine's weekend?
I'm going to do everything that I'm big enough to do.
I thought you'd say that.
And I want to say to all my single women and my single men that's out there, Do everything that you are big enough to do and that you are worthy and you are still valuable, and know your worth and know your value. And your Valentine's is what he or she decides to make it, because you are the commodity. Moving forward, I heard you talk about something earlier. Now, let me backtrack that. Before I move forward, when it comes to relationships, you ain't stupid. Call it out when you see it. And if they're making you the victim, that's because they already doing something. And if you got the firepower to blow them out the water, like that information you didn't reveal to them, Valentine's Day weekend will be the perfect opportunity. So when they start trying to make you feel bad, you could tell them about all their infidelities and all that stuff they tried to bring you, like them diseases when they was hiding that white envelope that was sent to the house that they stuck up under the refrigerator. Now moving forward, you brought up something about poverty. Poverty can be controlled in 2025 if you know how to handle your mental. Poverty comes from settling. Also, on top of that, the biggest threat to any white family is not Mexicans and it's not black people. It's the white man, because when he gets angry, he kills everybody in the house before he takes that double-barrel shotgun and put it in the mouth and pull the trigger, and next thing you know, you got chicken liver sliding all down the wall, which is his brains. And then when you think about the power plants, the factories, that's all going down the toilet because of the white man. So they can try to do all kind of racism, they won't, but they still gonna die before everybody else. We forgot about opioids in their culture. We forgot about meth, about Beth, who got that meth, that crack, that cocaine, that flocka, them shrooms. And then you have to understand with a lot of these racist people, some of them are ADH babies, inbreeding babies. I think some of them are autistic and some of them are slightly retarded. That's why they're japping the hell out. So what I would say to all the black people and the good white people who don't want to be associated with that oral thrash, continue to progress forward and don't fall into the MF and bull sugar honey iced tea. And when you look at the healthcare system, anybody who licks or snort cocaine off a toilet seat where you can get MRSA, viruses, and bacteria cannot tell you anything about no health. So when you look at the illiterate and the Abaddons, the angel of destruction, because everything these racist white men touch goes to sugar, honey, iced tea, their downfall will be because of their white hands. That's why their breathing power is zero. Now, I want all y'all to have yourself a good weekend, drink some good champagne, know how to use that champagne and that red wine, have you a couple of shots of good tequila with some Sundrop soda, and keep it moving. And for those racists, let them rock with them raggedy-ass Tesla trucks, because they can't get out of 2 inches of snow anyway. Because if you got an F-150, you'll be able to dance around them like Sylvester. Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.
Why would anyone... Serious question here. Sniff cocaine off of a toilet seat? Wouldn't you think that as you're pulling your cocaine out and looking for a hard, flat, preferably non-porous surface to place your cocaine for snorting, why a toilet seat? Because you're probably in a bathroom, I'm assuming. Why not the counter? You know, or maybe... Okay, well, let me find someone who may have the answer. Hey, Bob.
Hello, Sherwin. You know, I had 2 points, but you said the toilet seat that makes me have 3 points. I wouldn't tell
Bob,
nobody.
Hold on. Bob. Before you get started, whatever additional point you came up with that was inspired by cocaine in a toilet seat, I don't think we need that point, buddy.
I agree. I agree, man. Oh, man. You know, what I want, make it a New Year's resolution.
A little
in
late
relationships,
a little late. It's already Valentine's Day, buddy.
Not quite. Not quite. Make Valentine's your New Year's resolution. I'm gonna be nice to each other when it comes to a relationship. See, as of this day, the 14th or the 13th, when I have Valentine's, I'm gonna be nice to the other couple, to the other party. And the second point is, Sherwin, doggone it, Sherwin, I forgot my second point.
That's okay.
Isn't that?
That's okay.
No, it's not okay. Because it was a good point, and it was about you. And oh man. Now when I get off the phone, I think of that second point.
Well, you remember the toilet seat point? Maybe we'll do that one then. Maybe if you do the toilet seat point.
Oh my goodness! When Al brought that up,
bring back memories.
Memories. I wouldn't tell nobody that. How could he even say something like that on the TV or whatever? I mean, that's ridiculous. And then Trump going to have somebody like that be in charge in his administration?
Wait a minute. Was Al referring to something that actually happened? Somebody really snorted cocaine off a toilet seat?
Sherwin, he did. You know that he said
Wait, Robert Kennedy? There's a clip of Robert Kennedy. No.
How could he even say something like that? Well, Sherwin, I guess I got to let you go because that second point was about you. And I can't think of it until I'm probably going to think of it when I get off the air. But it was a good point.
Was it?
First point was relationships, and I just can't be made to think of it.
All right.
So on that note, I guess I'll let you go.
Okay then.
Even though you make me sick sometimes, I'll let you go.
Well, you get sick a lot because you call every day.
Yeah, well, you make it interesting, Sherwin. You bring up some very good, valid points. I commend you, and I, suggest that you keep studying, keep doing, because one of your listeners, get a lot out of what you say. I learn some all the time.
Thank you, Bob.
So continue, Sherwin.
All right, thank you.
But you still make me sick.
Okay. All right, then.
Talk to you later.
Okay, talk to you later then. Thank you for that.
And I said, I'm not scared of a germ. I used to snort cocaine off of toilet seats.
Yeah, that sounds about right. What's happening to the world? I have a list of what international news sources are saying about the United States. So I've got information from what Germany is saying, our neighbor to the north, Canada, and then the people over in the Netherlands, because they are very much concerned by what they are seeing coming out of the United States as far as the president and the policies and the curtailing of freedom of speech. So I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I'm going to share with you what other nations are saying and why they are a little fearful of this era of American politics that we are currently going through. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Natural gas is a clean, reliable, and convenient source of energy delivered directly to you through underground pipelines. The pipeline system has an excellent safety record, but there are clues that can help you identify a potential hazard. If you smell the strong odor of rotten eggs, hear an unusual hissing sound, or see blowing dirt or debris, it could be a natural gas leak. Leave the area immediately and call We Energies at 800-261-5325.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
Pollution from trucks is a public health crisis. Diesel-burning trucks belch dangerous levels of pollution, and communities living near ports and along freight corridors breathe especially high levels of this dirty air. But this crisis has a solution. My name is Sasan Sadat, and I work for Earth Justice. I'm working to clean up our air quality, particularly for communities that bear the burden of diesel pollution. For the sake of our lungs, our health, and our climate, the future of trucking in this country has got to be zero emissions. Until then, I will never rest.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Earth Justice is fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. If clean air matters to you, visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
I'm Angela Bassett. As a first responder on screen, I know what it means to act fast in an emergency. In real life, the same urgency can save lives, especially when it comes to a food allergy. For 33 million Americans, one bite can turn an ordinary meal into a life-threatening reaction. And too often, they don't have the one thing that could save them: epinephrine. But emergencies don't wait. And when a severe reaction happens, being prepared makes all the difference. Now, there's a needle-free option, a new way to carry epinephrine that makes it easier than ever to be ready. No needles, no hesitation, because when the unexpected happens, the best thing you can do is be ready. Know the risk, know the options. Be ready to act. Learn more at foodallergy.org/ready to act.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome back. Our telephone number is 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. I have a list of what a couple other nations are saying about the United States. So it's not just us, the citizens here of this country, that are concerned by what we're seeing. Other nations are concerned as well, because the United States was a strong ally and a strong trading partner with many of these nations, and those relationships have since been strained, especially with Western European nations that are a part of NATO. So Germany has some thoughts because they've seen this thing before. Also have sentiments from our neighbors to the north, Canada, and then of course the Dutch that know a thing or two about oppressive regimes. Let's talk to, I don't know who this is. Hello.
So,
oh, good God Almighty.
I want to know where you're going. That was my second point. Come on, when you take your shoes off, where you going to eat it?
You think I'm telling you?
Come on, sir.
I'll tell Beelzebub himself before I tell you. I ain't telling you.
That was my second point. I'm going to get off the air, and I'm going to wait till you tell us where you're going so I can, you got to tell us, Sherwin. Come on. Talk to you later.
I can't believe he thinks. Let me tell you something. So I'm going to get me a fish fry when I get off there, okay? I got a feeling some of y'all going to figure it out. Let me know something. Let me tell you something right now. I'm going to let you know something. If any one of you show up to my little tuck away, quiet, coveted, little special fish fry spot, I'm pulling a fire alarm. Ain't nobody gonna eat. Try me. Try me. Ain't nobody gonna eat. It's gonna be cold wind and fire trucks. That's right. You better go to McDonald's, get you a fillet of fish. Go home, put on a shirt and tie, put on a suit, put on a nice dress. You want a nice fish fry? Go get you a couple fillets. Ain't telling y'all where I'm going, especially Bob. Have Bob ruining my place. Next thing you know, grand opening, grand closing. Have my place shut down. Your hoodlums ain't messing up. Can I have one nice spot? I'll give y'all any information about any other neighborhood, any other restaurant, any other kind of food. I'll even give you the Central Cafe on East Center Street in River West. Beautiful establishment, incredible food, fantastic service, excellent selection of drinks. I think it's a 700 block of East Center Street. Go there. You're not ruining this for me. You know what y'all sound like? I'm going to be honest with you, because y'all are starting to come down on your boy. Even Andy Positive emailed me. And whenever he emails me, which is frequently, I read his emails in his voice. Sherwin, I am curious. Me and Mother want to have some fish and my cat burger time. I promise I won't tell anyone. If I just told him, that would ruin it for me. He sent us a picture. Did you guys know that? That Andy Positive sent us a picture probably about 2 years ago. Trust me when I tell you, he looks precisely how he sounds. Usually people don't look how they sound. They don't. He does. And no, you're not going to see the picture because it's... Germany has put the United States on a list of nations that are unsafe for travel. They're warning the German citizens not to travel to the United States because of the curtailing of our freedoms, our First Amendment, and of the right to assemble and protest. So Germany has put the United States... You know who's usually on those kind of lists? Like Middle Eastern countries that are at war. But Germany has advised their citizens not to travel to the United States. Canada has negated all medical research, citing it as untrue because of our poor education system and political bias. And Zach just played the clip of Robert Kennedy admitting to Theo Vaughn that he has snorted cocaine off of a toilet seat. And let me be abundantly clear. Robert Kennedy Jr. is the Secretary of Health and Human Services. So Canada has issued a national bulletin. And here's what is horrible. We still have really great doctors, scientists, and medical professionals, but the Canadians and other countries still are not going to take any of our medical research as valid because of who was selected to lead health administration in the nation, which is Robert Kennedy, who snorts coke off a toilet seat. A toilet seat is a surface that people put toilet paper on so their ass doesn't touch it. He snorted coke. Thank you, Canada, actually. Smart move, Canada. Now, this last one is frightening. And I don't want anyone to think that it's blown out of proportion, but because we're exposed to all this stuff every single day, it's something else. And I still have more environmental harms that I want to share with you because I didn't get through all of it, with Donald Trump rolling back the Obama-era EPA regulations, in which in the Obama administration they came out with a 210-page document that showed with details, facts, and statistics of how environmental pollutants are leading to environmental racism, and the negative health outcomes for African Americans are 10 times higher than they are for everybody else. Trump has rolled all of that back, which is going to lead to one thing: more deaths, more sickness, illness, and hospitalizations in the black community. But the Dutch have considered Donald Trump more dangerous than Adolf Hitler. Now, let me explain why I believe the Dutch people, the people of the Netherlands, are qualified to say such a thing, and that's overwhelming to us. But if I do some comparisons, if I just look at the immigration policy, 9 people have been murdered by ICE that we know of. Hundreds, if not thousands of others have completely disappeared. They have been rounded up in these raids by Customs and Border Patrol and Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and there's no record of these people at all. We're not getting daily updates on how many people are being deported. We know that billions of dollars is being spent to detain and to house these people, where corporations are taking advantage of prison labor from detained migrants. We know that this is all happening. So those are concentration camps, and because they are in privately run incarceration facilities, don't mean that they aren't still incarceration camps, because remember, these people haven't been convicted of anything. None of them have a lawyer. None of them have had a day in court to where they should be sentenced and confined to those facilities, but they are there and they are working. In some cases, they're getting $1 a day. In some cases, they're getting no money at all. That is very Adolf Hitler-esque. Rolling back these environmental protections, which are allowing these companies and corporations to emit greenhouse gases where they are predominantly located in a lot of African-American communities. Just look up Cancer Alley when you get a chance. This area in Louisiana of 85 miles where about 150 petrochemical plants are located with better than a 40% African-American population, and the black children that are dying from asthma, the black women that are having more miscarriages, the heart disease, the lung disease, and the strokes in that area, especially in the black community, is a critical rate, and Donald Trump has removed all the regulations there. That's gassing us, right? But here's why I think the Dutch are uniquely qualified to compare Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler. Maybe you learned about this person in history. Her name is Anne Frank. Where do you think she was? Where was she hiding? In Amsterdam. The Dutch people harbored her for 2 years, hiding her from the Nazis. Now, she eventually was caught and died of typhus in a concentration camp. But if the Dutch people are saying that they are comparing our president to at least early Adolf Hitler, I believe them, certainly more than I believe anybody here. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Half of American parents cannot afford diapers. Hi, this is WTMJ's Kristen Bry. This spring, WTMJ and the Milwaukee Diaper Mission are teaming up to change that. Join me for WTMJ Cares Bowling for Babies, where we will raise funds for Milwaukee Diaper Mission. Register to bowl with us on March 7th at Village Bowl in Menominee Falls. Registration is now open. Go to WTMJCares.com to sign up. Act quickly, teams will fill up fast. It's WTMJ Cares Bowling for Babies to help the Milwaukee Diaper Mission.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They treated me like family.
They're actually people that you can depend on.
They made me feel seen. They really treated me like I was a part of their family, a part of their team.
They ask how you're doing, how you're feeling.
They're just so welcoming and so sweet and kind.
It's like family, caring about another member of the family.
If you've been injured, it costs you nothing to see if Gruber Law Offices can help.
We need to optimize the PID controller for smoother robotic movements.
Our data analysis shows a significant correlation between the variables in both control groups.
The test shows you experience an acute myocardial infarction.
As you'll see on the syllabus, this course will largely focus on the Mesozoic era.
Get your child the access every child deserves. Enroll your K through 8th grade child by February 28 at Milwaukee College Prep, mkeprep.com/enroll.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good, because today I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org and donate if you can. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Yeah, I don't want to play that song. I'm playing another song. You guys have sent some fantastic text messages at 833-212-1017. Let's read a few of those. Where do I start? Blake says, Sherwin, this is Blake. It's not your phrase, Blake. He said, you used my phrase the other day, high as a giraffe's vagina. It really, I say vagina because it's the radio. It's supposed to be the P word. Daphne says, no, Professor, we don't want to be in the files. Epstein specifically stated, no niggers. Yeah, that's what I titled the show today, Truth and Consequences. The truth is there's not going to be any consequences because no one who's a major perpetrator in the Epstein files is black. Imagine if it was all black men that was going to Epstein, like famous black men. Name some. Denzel Washington, Forrest Whitaker, I don't know, other famous black people. Then everybody would be prosecuted. It'd be subpoenas falling from the sky. But because it's white people and they're redacting the names of the perpetrators, there's not going to be any consequences. And it's just serving as a distraction. If anything, just know that Republicans are supporting and protecting some of the most deplorable behavior that human beings can commit. These are the worst atrocities ever. Raping and trafficking kids. I used to think that was universally hated by people. But just know the Republican policies and Republican lawmakers, and a lot of them are going to sacrifice their whole careers because some Republicans, especially in the House, that are supporting Trump, they're not going to get reelected, and then no one is going to hire them. Their only chance for employment is to hope that Donald Trump hires former Republican lawmakers because no one is going to hire these people. If you're in the Epstein files, here's the thing. You're okay being in the government because they're protecting you. But once you're out of the government, you're finished. You're done for. So there may be some consequences. I mean, not in the short term, there's not going to be any. What else? Marcel says, speaking of the N-word, pull up the Epstein file, search, I guess I shouldn't say it, the N-word. In a transcript of victim interviews, this person told Epstein, quote, yes, find me some friends. Jeff wanted young, fresh meat girls, virgins. He told me, don't bring me any N-words. So here's a way in which the N-word is being used positively because they didn't want black children. I told y'all earlier in the show, we are not in those files. That's a them problem. That's them. And we want to be involved so bad. We want to say that we're, victims of it too, but we're not. Black folks have other stuff that we need to do. That's what they do to one another. Let's stay away from that. We can't prosecute anybody as a black community. We can't subpoena anybody. That is their internal battle between them and Asmodeus and Satan. That's them. We ain't got nothing to do with that. We got to focus on us and worry about us. I'll tell you this much, because so many of them Caucasoids is running the federal government. Pam Bondi even said, if I prosecuted everybody, the government would collapse. That's not something you say out loud, boo-boo. You don't want to admit that. But guess what Milwaukee has? Black mayor, black county executive, black sheriff, black police chief, majority black common council, and a black chairwoman of the county board. You're safer with black folks. Your kids are safer with black leadership. You see what white leadership will do and what they will defend. I'm just saying. You ain't no black folks going to Epstein Island. I mean, we might go to Jamaica, go to Ocho Rios, but we're not going there. So black leadership, at the very least, is not going to abuse your kids and then defend and protect the people. Could you imagine, if Barack Obama was in the White House and he was in the Epstein files? They said that Trump's name is mentioned 1 million times. 1 million times. Could you imagine if Barack Obama was in those files and black members of Congress and Democrats were defending him and they blacked out his name in the files? Black elected officials would lose all of their credibility instantaneously at every single level of government. People will not vote for another black Democrat for the rest of their natural lives. But the Republican Party is still in power and still making rules. In fact, they are rolling back rules that are going to intentionally harm black people. That's wild, right? Now, I'm telling you all this information so you can formulate in your mind what and whom you plan to vote for moving forward. So here's what I would say. If you care about the sanctity of, the innocence of children, Republicans are demonstrating that they're willing to go to the wall to protect some of the most disgusting human beings that really have ever been born. So I'm just going to stay away from the Republican Party for that reason alone. I mean, there's other reasons that I've probably given you, but I think that's enough for now. And the Democrats that I vote for, I want them to be decent and articulate and have real good policy positions. But I'll lower my standards to, hey, candidate, as you're knocking on my door seeking my vote, have you ever touched some kids? Oh, you haven't? When do I vote? That's really all, I think, at this point. Federal DEI rollbacks under Donald Trump and executive orders during his second term and U.S. Supreme Court rulings dismantling affirmative action have had economic, employment, social, structural, health, wellness, and safety impacts. I'm going to give you, in the last couple of minutes of my show, where empirical evidence exists to support the intentional harm that Donald Trump has done to black people specifically. That's been like an hour on the EPA rollbacks. So expect, more cancer. Employment and labor market impacts. Increased unemployment amongst black workers, typically black women. Black women's unemployment rose to 7.3% in late 2025, the highest rate in 4 years, directly linked to A, federal DEI office closures, B, termination of equity compliance requirements, and C, mass layoffs tied to DEI elimination. Republicans and Republican policy, in my opinion, is genocide for black people and black progress. And they're erasing us from the Smithsonian and taking down our monuments. They even took Colin Powell's name off of a commemoration on the Pentagon's website. Colin Powell, who used to be a Republican? Nearly 300,000 black women exited the labor force in the second quarter of 2025 alone. Employers and labor economists directly link these losses to Trump's DEI rollbacks and executive orders and federal contractor restrictions, reduce hiring and promotion of black people. Large corporations survey data from 2025 and early 2026 include a 33% decrease in hiring of men of color, a 37% decrease in hiring of women of color, a 30% drop in leadership roles held by people of color. Employers cite the legal risk, political pressure, and federal enforcement signals as drivers of their DEI retreat. I'm not done. Shrinking federal and contractor employment opportunities. Trump executive orders eliminated DEI offices, staffing positions, and compliance roles. Revoked Executive Order 11246 from 1965, which is the backbone of federal contractor anti-discrimination enforcement. The result, loss of tens of thousands of federal and contractor positions disproportionately held by who? African Americans. I wonder what Trump's going to do for Juneteenth Day. That'll be cool. Income, wealth, and economic mobility impacts. Rising black unemployment, directly wealth loss. Black unemployment rose to 7.2 to 7.3% nationally by mid to late 2025. Rising unemployment directly reduces retirement, accumulation, household savings, and intergenerational wealth transfer. Loss of professional advancement and middle-class pipeline. DEI rollbacks eliminated. Mentorship programs, leadership development tracks, and internal promotion pipelines. The result, reduced upward mobility for black professionals, slower career advancement, long-term income stagnation, education and structural pipeline impacts, massive decline in black enrollment in elite universities. Black enrollment dropped by 30% at the top 50 selective universities. Some elite campuses now enroll as little as 2% of black freshmen. Harvard, Princeton, MIT, Yale all reported double-digit declines in African-American enrollment. Republican policies are genocide for African Americans. Have a wonderful and productive Valentine's Day. I can't wait to hear about all of the stories you guys will generate from this weekend. Please post pictures. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next time.
Milwaukee business owners, this is your moment. Every Friday at 8 a.m., call in to 101.7 The Truth for What the Business Is.